You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting season. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and eat, gonna live the dream. Gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing a song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready for one more chance. You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting season. Come on, won't you sing with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world. Let's show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Hey,
Yo.
what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the PlayStation Collectors Podcast. This is season number 3, episode 22. And tonight we welcome the retro Necro to the show. What's up, mate?
Fellas, thank you for having me. Greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for coming on.
Welcome on, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
And sorry to the U.S. audience. Daylight savings time is like not worldwide, so our start time's super late. So
Yeah, we'll nail down start time soon, change sleeping patterns and stuff.
I like to keep you on your toes. I like to keep people on their toes.
We will have a bunch of US Sunday shows or Saturday shows for the next month or two, and then we'll get back into some European shows again, so it should be fun.
Yeah, we got a bunch of filthy Americans coming on. Sorry, just like me. Sorry, ruining everything. I'm just kidding.
I had a bunch of people reach out, and they're all Americans, so just, sorry. No Europeans reached out. No one wanted to get up at 5 a.m. to come on.
Say nothing good happens after 11 p.m., but it does tonight.
That's right. Exactly. Heck yeah.
I'm digging your setup, Mac. It looks awesome, man. The controllers on the wall and all the consoles. Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. Always
Yeah,
a work in
super
progress. I think everybody can agree with that.
I love
Yeah.
having it really get your games, so it's great.
Yeah, you've been doing some work though. I mean, you got like multiple beautiful CRTs. Look at all the consoles hooked up. I love it, man. You got what do you have all those running through? Are they all hooked up through like a box or like an upscaler or anything like that? Or
Well, that's a long conversation, but
well, I'm a nerd.
to simplify it. Yeah, so y'all can see under the PVM over here, everything goes, or most of it goes through a couple of different Extron switchers. There's another setup like this of consoles on the opposite side. You just can't see it from where y'all are. Maybe I could turn it or something. Y'all could get a look at it. There you
Ew.
go. So yeah, it's like newer gen over there. A lot of the HD stuff is connected there. So that all goes through like an HD switcher.
I love the PS1 and Xbox, the newer gen section.
You got to clash them side by side. But yeah, so it all goes through the cross point, which y'all know what cross points are, I would assume. But all that stuff goes through there, so they're all linked in through the back. Anything that's a composite will go through a composite switcher that's just underneath that. It does composite and S video, and then those will in turn go to the cross point, which will then go to all of the TVs and everything in here. So, and I've got the ADP RXI and a like pretty much for Dreamcast. There's 2 other things where I can convert Dreamcast, the VGA, to RGB or component. So there's 2 things that are up top that I can run the Dreamcast through. But I mean, you can do a bunch of stuff with Dreamcast, so that's it's always a lot of fun. But then I can run them all to I go to that PVM, the big TV, Monster CRT, the GX, or there's another little PVM that's behind here.
That's gorgeous, dude.
So it's fun. Yeah, we'll have a lot of good nerd nights where we just run 3 different things at one time. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, nice one.
That's pretty awesome, man.
Yeah, and then SCART too. Y'all can't see that. It's there's a SCART switcher that's behind the PVM. Maybe you can see it a little bit, but pretty much everything that you can run SCART through, all the old stuff, Super Nintendo, Saturn, which is awesome on SCART, like just like face melting on the SCART and the PVM. Both the Genesis go through that. The Neo Geo AES goes through that. And then I've got the PS2 that goes through that, which I love. I mean, it's insane seeing that thing go through it. It changes every game. You can go replay the games, and it's like a brand new game again.
I bet it looks absolutely freaking gorgeous on
awesome.
the PVM, dude.
Yeah.
I've been into this stuff lately. Just the new Retro Tink 4K came out, and Metal Jesus make a video. I've been just like Googling stuff and looking at all the hardware and gear again. Just like, I should get a new CRT. Well, not a nice CRT and set up something, but yeah, I need space. But I'm planning. I think I'm going to hopefully move in the next 2 years, so I'm going to get it all ready and maybe buy some toys ahead of time.
I'll give a little tip to people that are on here. Anybody that's looking for a PVM, this is how I got one of mine. But if you call the city, at least in America, I don't know about Australia or anywhere else, but like if in America, if you call the city to do like a electronics pickup, bulk electronics pickup, they'll send a special truck to do that. And it's pretty much they pick up old TVs and things, and give the guy that's driving it $20 bill or something. Say, hey, if you ever see anything, it's like an old monitor, like a security monitor or something. Here's my number. Shoot me a text. I'll pay you $100 for it. You can get a few bits of luck by doing that.
Clearing out old hotels or something, and suddenly he's got 30 of them and doesn't know what to do with them.
Yep, and guaranteed they'll tell you, oh yeah, I've seen those things all the time. We just throw them in here and then haul them down with everything else.
Yeah, I mean, most people don't realize. I mean, like you said, they're mostly used for security. They weren't used for gaming or anything. That's not what they were marketed for. They so happen to have the RGB hookups on them, right? That's why they're so sought after.
Yep.
So, yeah, but I mean, I would love one. I just want the little one. I'm not greedy. I just want the little one, and I just want to hook it up to my PS1. That's all I want. I bet that looks fire. But no, I want the whole setup. I want to get like one of the Sonys, so because I'm into like Lycon gaming, and that's like the only thing that like you pretty much have to have a CRT to do. I mean, I know there's other alternatives, but they all suck. I don't care what anybody says. They all suck compared to actual CRT. They're all garbage. Even the best one is garbage. So, yeah,
I'll agree.
But yeah, it's an awesome setup you got going there. I also love the variety of gaming stuff you have. It's like a nice mix of stuff. I see like Sega CD stuff, Game Boys, Saturn. You got it all, man. You got Xbox games. You got a nice collection, man.
Thank you. Dabble in a little bit. A lot of my favorite stuff is in the lock case over there. I've got all the Turbo Graphics. I love Turbo Graphics. And I never had one growing up. Never knew anybody that had one either. So that was like that was probably my favorite discovery since years back. Really kind of getting back into like retro stuff. Nintendo was always the go-to. I have probably 500 Nintendo games, trying to get a full set someday. I don't want to rush it because that takes the fun out of it, but
it does.
But I found Turbo Graphics, and I think it was Ninja Spirit I played was the first one, and oh man, I was locked in after that.
So yeah, for when I was growing up, it was like I knew one person who had one, and I played it I think one time. Like I played Bonk, I think he had, and maybe God, he might have had blazing lasers or something like that. He had a shmup or something. I don't remember what it was. And I was blown away, but it was one of those things too, where it was just like, I remember like, how much did this thing cost? And he told me, I'm like, yeah, my dad ended up buying this. It's not
like 3DOs and stuff back in the day, when they're like $1,000 to buy. Who's going to actually own them?
Yeah.
I had 5 sisters and 2 brothers. My dad had fucking bills to pay. He wasn't worrying about buying us some luxury video game console. So I was lucky to get what I did. But I remember like when we got a little older, like me and my brother pitched in and got the PS2 together. Like we were like, we're not waiting for him. Screw that. You know what I mean? It was like we're like, as soon as we could get our own money, we're like, we'll start taking care of this ourselves.
When there's a
Like,
few of you, it becomes like $100 each. You know, it's actually reasonable.
Yeah. And my little brother, he was a hustler, man. I used to always end up at games from other kids' houses and shit. I'm like, where are you getting all these? I'm like, do they know? I remember he brought home a nice Sega CD haul one day. We got like Popful Mail, Lunar 1, Lunar 2, like all this stuff. He's like, oh, this guy's older brother didn't want it anymore. I traded him like some, something crap, another crap he wanted. I was like, all right, cool. Yeah.
You go into your room, you might notice something missing.
That's how it was back then. Everybody borrowed games and stuff, and everybody had each other's stuff, and I don't even remember. You know what I
remember
mean?
trading games, and then like you lend each other games. Like, oh yeah, I'll get it back off you next week, and then you still at your mate's game like 20 years later.
Oh, that happens all the time. I can't tell you how many times I've like opened a case and been like, "Where's my game?" And then I'm like going through my mind. I'm like, in 2001, I was at Steve's. What the hell? Did I give that to Tony? What the hell is that thing? It's over. And CDs too. CDs are bad too. Like that pisses me off more than anything. Like I found like some old CDs, and like those are impossible to replace. Some of them because they were like local bands that I liked back in the '90s. They didn't even sell these damn CDs anywhere. It's like I'm never finding this again. So that stuff bothers me. But, it is
So I tried a while back when I had more time, pre kids, trying to come up with like a clever idea on Instagram. And so, you get cart games and people have their names written on them, right? And like Sharpie. So any of them that have a full name or something that might be distinguishable, I was putting up pictures of it and with the hashtag claim that cart. And in the hopes that, and I'd hashtag the name, maybe like the person with that name would see it or something, or they were like a retro collector and they might fall on it at some point, just to see if I could try to put something back with somebody that maybe gave it to somebody, sold it or something a while back and could kind of reconnect with it. I would love that if it happened to me.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Like you get your original Bobby that you wrote on the back of your NES card and texture, and it's still there in 2024.
Yeah, I love like old game store stickers too. When they have one of those, it's on the back of one of the things. It's especially if it was like the game store you went to, the local game store. I've got a few of those, and those are very coveted.
Yeah, I never used to like stickers, but as I've been collecting for a long time, you start to appreciate the not like pawn shops, but the original price tag sticker I like, and looking at the original price tag years later, things like that.
Yeah, it can be cool, especially if you have like a game that's worth $300 and it's like $9.99. That's always a cute joke. It's too cute, Some people, it's funny. That's like a debatable thing. I'm anti-sticker on my stuff. Like that, I peel all that crap off. Like I don't keep it on there. I clean all my stuff. Just don't want it on there. But then inevitably get stuck with stickers on the artwork or something. And like when it's gonna damage it if you take it off, that's where it's like, all right, it's staying on there.
Or cardboard items that have stickers on them. And it's just like,
yeah, dude. I do. Oh my god. Do you remember I ordered that that Iron Man VR bundle thing I got?
Yeah,
They shipped it to me with like they just put a giant sticker on the whole box, like on the fucking box. Like that's how they shipped it. And like it was like airplane glue or something. I don't know what it was. Like this sticker, like it took me, dear Lord, dude, it took me like hours to get this thing off because I was just slowly like trying to get it off because it covered like the whole thing, and I was so pissed. I'm like, I'm not keeping this. I can't display this like this. It was just absurd. You know what I mean? Like, but like it's not like if it would have damaged it, and so I had to go really slow. And like once you're committed, you can't stop. You know what I mean? Like you have to go for. Oh, dude, it was such a nightmare.
Midway, you see a little bit of the color starting to come up. You're like, oh no,
yeah,
shut the door, shut the door, don't open it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like he's got to back off. Like I said, so sometimes stickers, it's not worth screwing with them, but it's like I don't know. It's like trying to replace PS1 cases. Sometimes it's like you end up breaking the case worse. It's like, damn it, that wasn't worth it at all. Now I am out at this. Now I'm out 2 cases. Damn it.
Your case is a bit different, but when I get a case on a cheap game and I got an expensive game that's got a bad case, I try and swap them over. But the problem in swapping them over is you can break the case doing that. It's just like, oh, is it worth the risk? This thing hasn't been open for 25 years. I'm about to you need to open the plastic further than it is meant to open to get the case out.
Yeah,
So
but it doesn't matter. Sorry, good.
Building inventory, trying to get. That's what I'm doing now. Is building inventory to try to get towards opening that store, and so I got a lot of games right now. So I started replacing a lot of the broken cases and things that I kind of held back on. Like I got 2 big cases beside me of probably 900 PS2 games.
Nice.
So it fixed all those up. That's been a perk to it.
So let's get into the plans of the store you want to open, man. Tell us a little about
Yeah,
that.
absolutely. So, so I had been kind of I guess, climbing the corporate ladder, so to speak, for like the past 14 years, and got to a point where there's a lot of things that I enjoyed that I wasn't able to do anymore, and so kind of doing a reset. And I've always thought about opening a game store, and repair and things like that, but it's always been kind of money, financial. Is that something that's going to be, financially good to do? And it seems like the consensus right now and has been no. I mean, if I did it pre-COVID, obviously that would have been nice. So I'm getting some plans together to open a store in the area that I live in, and it's a little bit intimidating. I think the plan might be to have a full-time job too, or a main job, as I've been watching Retro Rick on YouTube, because he's got a really nice game store in Arkansas. But he's got a main job too.
Does he actually work a full-time job and do the store and do his YouTube? Does he really do that?
I Googled it and I couldn't figure it out, but it sounds like it. Yeah.
That's
That's
wild
a
to
lot of
me.
work.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I
That's
think
a
he's in
lot
a
of
store
work.
twice a week or something. And still doing
Oh, okay.
YouTube. He does a lot, but
He's
Yeah,
got
I
employees
think-
in the store that run it.
Mhm.
and things like
Oh,
that.
that's fair. Okay. I mean, maybe
Yep.
he's not in the store running it all, because I would imagine running a store, it's like running a restaurant or anything. I mean, you're there all the time, I guess.
Mhm.
I would assume so. But that's wild. Yeah, he had a rough couple weeks, didn't he? Did you guys see what happened with
Yeah.
Retro Rick? He got hacked.
Yeah, poor thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, he got his channel back, luckily, and it doesn't. And I think that they restore his videos too. I think.
Did they? Let's have a quick look.
Yeah, it says videos where they just took him
Hmm.
down or something, so he was able to restore them, which is good. I
Or
guess
made
I
them
don't know
private
how
or-
monetization in YouTube works. Y'all probably do, but
Mm.
yeah,
And then I heard they he said that they basically took his money from PayPal. Wah.
Yeah.
That's sad, man.
It stinks.
But
I mean, yeah.
good news is I took his advice. I got some Bitcoin and I made a killing on Bitcoin. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't buy that. because that's what they did. They turned it into like a Bitcoin fucking thing or something like that. I don't know.
that's
So I
great.
get. He says that basically what it is they turn on a live stream and they put a link in it, and if you click on it, the other people will steal your information and you'll try to get hacked and shit. So
No, I'm sure people did, because he's got 100,000 plus subs. It only takes 1 or 2 of them to do it.
that's why I like to keep
That's
my
what they
sub count
call it.
right around 30. Nobody's after me.
Hey, DFlex1, thanks for the donation. Appreciate that. DFlex1 said a PS3's ticking time bombs, or as long as we maintain them, it can last a long time. Backwards PS3 is a bad choice to get nowadays. I think knowing how to maintain them is the important thing. Knowing how to replace the thermal paste and different things like that. I'd never use a PS3 fat as a daily to play, but it's nice to own one to be able to play PS2 games and different things like that. But I use a Super Slim as a daily console, and then I use a PS2 to play my PS1 and 2 games. So keeping them clean, as Andy said, is important, but they're definitely not ticking time bombs. They're quite easy to repair, and there's a lot of people out there who know what they're doing and things like that these days.
Yep, that's one of the core functions of what I'm trying to do. I've got a bunch of the PS3 fat backwards compatibles that are back on the table right now, and they're great, because it's a 3-in-1 essentially. But yeah, maintenance is key, and you can YouTube a lot of the stuff. It's People put the boards in the oven and have stories of, doing that, and it started working again. Which is simple. It's just, you're remelting a lot of the solder joints and reconnecting them if they, got loose. But yeah, keeping them clean is key.
Yeah, I have 3 of them. That's why it was my plan. I'm just like, I don't know, if one breaks, I have more of them. So
Exactly.
but I used to be able to buy them for like $100. I got like the first one I bought was like $100. The second one I bought, I think it was like 140 or something like that. The third one I think was like 140, right around there. So I'm happy with that. But now, like, I can't. Everybody wants at least $200 for them, at least.
And it's
like
missing the little door on the closure for the SD card slot.
Oh yeah, now people will sell them broken for $100. I see that all the time. I see backwards compatible PS3 doesn't work, doesn't turn on, but right, yellow light of death. CD. My favorite is the disc reader broken, but it works. I'm like, if it's what the fuck do you mean it's backwards compatible? The disc reader's broken. What do you? Come on, no, it's not compatible with nothing. If it's if it doesn't play discs, it's digital compatible. It's all you're giving me here.
If anybody that's watching this podcast now or later wants to sell me a backwards compatible, I'll pay you $100 for it.
Yeah, even broken? Because I could, like, literally, man, I find those all the time.
Yeah, it's a coin flip. Broken. Have you dug into it yet? What's been done, how many other people have dug in, but
that is an interesting point. I used to work in a pawn shop, and we had like 200 consoles at one point, and we'd have a thing where we're constantly going through trying to get them all to work, and we really like tried to get them all working one day. And you pull all the PS3s out, and you're pulling out parts, putting them in other ones, and we got down to like 40 left, and ended up selling them all to Andy for like $10 each. He ended up getting like 5 or 6 more working out of it, and
that's a win.
It's like that, like, it's constant broken consoles mean someone's tried to fix it, someone else has tried to fix it, and you're looking at all these consoles and they've all got like weird things to them because someone else has pulled it apart and put it back together a weird way and things like that.
Grab these if you have a backwards compatible PS3. These are pretty cheap, and it's just like it's got 4 little fans, and you plug it right into one of the ports, and it just gives it extra air because it's about keeping it cool, right? They overheat, and then that's when problems happen. So get one of these, plug it in, and that's just kind of little safety net.
Yeah, so I don't ever play PS3 games on my backwards compatible, if that makes sense. Like, I have a PS3 Slim that I use for actual PS3 games, the Super Slim, excuse me, the one with the top loader tray or whatever, the slide tray, because number one, it has like a 500 gigabyte hard drive on it, which the fat ones have like 60 for 80 if you're lucky. Like, they don't have like a huge hard drive, so I don't really want to install a bunch of PS3 games on it. And like, I don't know, those just seem not to die or break. Like, I don't know, like that's like you should be like, get one of those for your daily driver if you want to play a lot of PS3 games on it. I use the backwards compatible ones is literally, to me, it's my HDMI PS2. I literally only use it to play PS2 games, not PS1 either. Like, sometimes PS1 you can upscale them, but like also like PS1 games you can emulate on freaking everything and you can upscale them. So there's a million ways to play PS1 games. So like, again, why would you put the mileage on the console? So for me, like, the only real reason to use the damn thing is if I want to play PS2 games on my TV. And there's tons of other options for that as well, to do that if you want. So you don't have to get like so. Reggie and Metal Jesus literally just made a video about the PS2 and like how to hook it up, and talking about like you can using the PS3 backwards compatible. You can get a retro tank, or you get like a cheap pound cable or whatever. So yeah, there's lots
of HDMI converter. There's plenty of things you can get for it.
So I have one of those too. I have like just like a cheap, I think it's a pound cable from, and it's like a converter for a PS2, and it works great. It just makes it dark. That seems to be what happens with the cheaper cables. Like, I feel like you get like a darker picture image quality. It doesn't come out as nice. But if you buy a $700 retro tank, I'm assuming that's going to be a lot nicer. So I think the cable I bought was like $25 or something. So.
These comments are
when the cable like triple the price of the console, it's wild.
Yeah, the viewers know what's up in the comments, reading what they're writing on here. Spot on.
Well,
Yeah,
well,
they're
yeah.
usually pretty spot.
Andy knows all about the scrap for sure. But yeah. So anyway, it's up to you. Do you think it's worth it? They're expensive, but I think they're cool. And I just love the PS3 original design. I think it's like actually like a gorgeous looking system. It's kind of a tank, but I think it looks really cool. Which is funny because I hated it at first. It's grown on me over the years. I don't know how you guys feel about it. When they first showed it, I was like, I wasn't digging the PS3, but I like it now.
If you've ever
I
bought
was
a classic
12 years
car,
old.
yeah. If you've
It's
ever bought a
cool.
classic car before, it might not look so good, but once you lean in heavy with the buffer and get the paint shining back up, then it looks a little better. Which you could do with the PS3, the Fat. You can take the top off of it and get in
Polish
there
it.
with like some polish and get it all shined back up, and it's great. It's like lipstick on a pig, but the pig is a prize pig.
Yeah, I've seen. It's funny. I've watched videos on that too. Like people like using like car wax and friggin' all different types of techniques try to buff out the scratches on that and clean those up. But I've seen they come up pretty nice. You can clean them up pretty good. You can make them shine again, like you said.
Getting the controllers looking brand new again too. Or just like good looking controllers of the console. It looks amazing.
I've had a lot of fun with controllers. I've done probably 40 PS3 controllers, and so I've been opening a lot of them up. And I had one the other day. I actually brought it in here. This like speaking of that, this is the it's not the kind of like shiny blue, but it's like more of like a matte blue. And I
Yeah,
got
I
it
see
on
that.
eBay, and the guy still has more. He like has a bulk quantity, and I'm like, this thing's gonna be fake. It was a decent price, and it looks really nice. It's a DualShock 3. And on the back, I mean, they have like the numbers that are on the back, and I think that's like what the indicator is. But I opened it up, and it was like a board I'd never seen before, and it was like a lot of plastic in there, and I just had a feeling it was, not real. And got on, and there's, of course, there's forums and all kinds of stuff that show, they document like different consoles, different controller variants, and everything. And it was like the last controller variant that they ever had for the PS3. So it is OEM, and so that's now going to be, one of my two controllers that I use for it. But yeah, it was great. It was a little bit lighter too. You can weigh them out and see the difference versus the OEM. It was like 2 grams lighter.
The analog sticks look really nice too. They look brand new. I live where it's hot all the time, and you find the analog sticks like melt, and like the rubber comes off them, and the plastic just basically feels like it's disappearing after a few years. It's really sticky, and yeah, it's awful. How about games, Mac? Do you have a disc cleaner to repair discs and things like that?
Yeah, but so I mean, depending on what store you've gone into, the best machines are the ones that are like pay to play. Essentially, you rent them. So it's like a massive machine. It's like $3,000 or something, and then you can put like 50 discs in it at a time, and it just goes straight through them. But you have to put credits into it, so I think it comes out to like 30 cents a disc to resurface it. But I've got it's the same company. It's like a step down from that, which still does a decent job. And then there's one that's like $250 you can get, and I think a lot of people have it. It's like JPG or something disc.
Yeah, I've got one of those. The cheap one. I mean, it does the job, but
it does. Yeah, it leaves like a little bit of kind of like it's not like perfect gloss finish, but it'll fix a disc and make it playable again, and that's the point, right?
Yeah, exactly. I've got discs that I can't fix, and then I send them to friends of the other machines, and they can fix them. But like 90% of the things I run through them, it makes it look brand new again. So.
Yep.
So do you do like a lot of reselling in general? Like, did you do like a lot of thrifting and stuff like that? Is that why you kind of want to open a store? Or
no, I mean this is a big life dilemma here of like, what title do you have? Are you reseller, and therefore you have a bunch of people that might immediately dislike you, or like have some.
They all dislike you, but then also ask you for deals.
Exactly.
So it goes both ways.
All right. So okay. So here's kind of, and everybody. I said I wasn't going to talk about this, but because I've got a couple things I've written down for just how can I try to be different from a lot of competition that's out there. So to answer your question, no, I wouldn't say I'm a reseller right now. I honestly, I've never sold anything I have. I've gifted some things to some friends in the past, people that are really close to me, or people that I met that were really into retro games as well. I moved out of Virginia when I lived up there in the Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Hampton area, which is awesome for thrifting. By the way, military is out there, and they go overseas, and their wives are like, "I'm going to empty all your games out while you're gone." So yeah, there's a ton of stuff over there. I got so much of my collection when I was over there; it was unreal.
I got a military mate in Virginia Beach who's overseas.
Yeah,
right
great
now.
game store too.
Yeah.
Video Game Heaven. If any of them watch this, that store.
So I've heard that
they were great.
If you're near a lot of military bases, a lot of people they come and go, they move a lot, so people will sell their stuff a lot. So it's like very common, I think, to find not just games but other types of things too.
Every thrift store. I mean, you stop in a thrift store every day and you find something. It was incredible.
That's cool.
But there's 30 GameStops in Virginia Beach or something crazy, I heard.
I don't even know where there was a GameStop. Honestly, I never went into one. There's just so many good game stores up there that weren't GameStop that I just never went over there. There was a couple of I was really into FIFA at the time when I was up there. So that was like what I was playing on PS4 all the time, way too much. I've quit that habit. I've gotten back because that was my backlog was stacking up. But no, I never went to any GameStops. It was always, local game stores only, which was great.
I find it funny that everyone comes on the show. We all have this backlog, and we're all like, "Yeah, but I play this 2 games, so I don't know." It's the same issue. It's like I have thousands of games I'm going to play, but for now, I'm just going to keep playing the same game that I play all the time.
You don't want to go to a restaurant and get a menu and open it up, and there's one thing on the menu, right?
Yeah,
you want to be able to read the menu and pick what you want to order. So you got to have a full menu.
I always order the same damn thing.
And if it's good, you just keep getting it. You know what you're gonna get.
So, like me and my girlfriend, we have this place we love to go, and it's like we've come to a conclusion that the only way we're ever gonna order something else is if we go there twice in the same week or something. There's no way otherwise. Because if you go there and get anything else, we'll just sit there and be like, "Yeah, but I didn't get that thing." And it just doesn't feel right. And now we have to go back. So it's just I don't know. You just kind of want
I do get that though. I've got a few places like that you rarely go to, but when you go there, if you don't get that one meal, it's like, oh well, that was kind of a waste.
Even if the other meal's great,
you're gonna get that,
even
and
if it's great,
else.
It's just not. It's not. It ain't right. It ain't what you were craving. It's not what you. I don't know. It's just tough. Shit, man, I'm hungry. All right, show's over. I'm just kidding. So
Did you play Ultimate Team, Mac, on FIFA or just career mode?
Yep. Yeah, I was an Ultimate Team guy.
I play FIFA, but I don't touch it. I just do career mode and multiplayer with my friends. That's it.
For anybody considering Ultimate Team, don't do it. Do not do it. Your life is gonna be sucked in. It is, and that's honestly one of the things that kind of pulled me back into retro, because you could take an NES game out, which is why I love NES. TurboGrafx, same thing. Put it in, and it could take 5 minutes. It could be a 20-minute game. You might end up beating it. It takes longer, but there's a game over. Which people that are, I think, I don't know how old y'all are, but 30 years and under, there's a lot of people that don't know what game over means, right?
Oh, there you go. My shit, it says game mode.
But yeah, so you could play it for 10 minutes, 15 minutes in the morning while you drink your coffee before you go to work or something, and have your enjoyable kind of personal time there, and then you put the game back up and you go on with your day. You don't get sucked in on something where there's 20 missions you have to do, and you don't want to miss this cave or do this or that, and so yeah.
Here's your daily challenges you have to do and not have fun today. I think Ultimate Team could be such a good game, but once money got into the game and FIFA coins, and it turned into gambling, and now it's the most profitable part of the game. And unfortunately, it's not going to change because people are addicted to it.
It is very addicting.
It's like gambling for kids. It's crazy how bad it is. A lot of countries have banned it. or
Yeah.
ban that part of the game and things like that.
Somebody asked what the link was to this. Here's the company if somebody wants to look it up. You'll see that INSTEN.
Yeah, instant.
Yeah.
So yeah, so what was I gonna say? So I've talked about this on the show before. Like I'm very not, you play whatever you want. I don't care what people play, but I'm against like the games that like don't have an ending, like you said. And like I'm super against games that like are deceptive to the like what they're trying to like manipulate you into like getting addicted to their game, playing it all the time, never stopping, spending more and more and more. Like you're the game. Like that's how I feel. Like the game isn't a product designed to make you happy. The game is a product that is designed to trick you into getting addicted to something and like into like ruining your life. Like they purposely are designing a bear trap for you that looks like an amusement park. Does that make sense? Like it's not. I don't like that at all. And like that's why I like games like you said that just have an ending and they're not full of microtransactions and there's not this never-ending treadmill of seasonal passes and daily logins and weekly rewards and this all that crap that just is like designed to keep you like mentally addicted to showing up over and over for this thing. Nintendo games, perfect example, like you said, like you start them, you play them, you beat them, you have that sense of accomplishment, that finality, that completion, and you can move on with your life. And then back in the day, you would just hope for a sequel. That would be like that's all you would hope for, like Contra 2 or Mega Man 2, Mega Man 3, or whatever. That's how it used to work, and I like that a lot better. I like the old school model of you would just get another game in the series if it was good and it was successful. It wasn't this DLC timed exclusive crap or whatever they're gonna do to you. Like, I hate it.
That's like a deterrent from my backlog too. Is looking at certain games. Here's one that this is a great example here. Something that I know when I start it, it's over. Like I'm going to be on this for who knows how long. But and the thing is, I got this.
Is that
PS5.
16? That's 16, right? Yeah. That took me about 65 hours, and I didn't.
Okay, so that's not terrible.
And I didn't do like everything. Like I didn't cut. There's like a board you can hunt down special monsters, and I didn't kill all of them. But yeah.
But it's like you get a PS5, and there's only a couple of games that I really have like played on it, and I got that because I was excited to play it on the PS5, and then I haven't done it. It's so that's I don't know.
Well, RPGs, you have to mentally prepare yourself for an RPG these days because they do take a lot of time. And if you're like me, like if you've gotten more into that like bite-sized gaming, that in and out like session gaming, it's tough to commit to like a 60-hour, 70-hour experience. But if the story's good, the characters are good, you'll enjoy yourself. And I did enjoy that game. It is gorgeous too. God, I mean, it's just eye candy. Like literally, there were like points where I was just sitting there like, ooh, like that's pretty much how I felt playing that game. Like it was amazing.
Well, the point I wanted to bring up about Final Fantasy 16 that you guys just touched on DLC is what happens when they release game of the or DLC for it, like in 12 months. Do you play it again, or do you hold off playing it the first time and wait for the DLC? It's one of these things these days that like is a really good point. Like, I want to play games day one, but not if there's DLC coming out in 12 months. I'd rather wait, pick up the Game of the Year edition. It's probably going to be cheaper. It's going to be patched. All the bugs are going to be ironed out, and I'll have that great experience from when I first play it. But then you miss out on the hype of the game, and you might get it spoiled. And if it's an online game, people mightn't be playing it. And there's all these things you got to weigh up these days. Like,
well,
that's the best time to play a game?
That's a really good point. And there was somebody I was watching. I think it's Y2 Collector. He has like really short videos that he puts up, and he made a killer point where he said, "Here's the game to get," and it was one that had released like really late. It was like the Game of the Year edition. Wasn't worth as much as the other ones, financial standpoint. But he's like, if this system was to go offline, like at 360 online, like it's supposed to do this summer, right? He's like, if it goes offline, then you can't do the DLC from any of the other versions that you might have. But if you have this, then it's on the CD and you have it physically, so you don't need to worry about that. You've got it. And that, that kind of gave me some anxiety because I'm like, oh man, what is some of the games I might have that, like, I maybe lost a hard drive or something and need to look at this. But great point.
Yeah, and that is a good point. I brought up a while back that down the line, the platinums and the greatest hits and the essentials versions of games that no one wants because, I want the black label. Well, in 20 years, the black label might just have the base version that needs a patch to play, where this version's got all the patches, it has all the DLC, it's all on the disc, plays straight away. And, we're not going to mentally think about this until the console comes up and says, you can't play this, you need this version, and everyone's buying it, and it's expensive. And no one wants these games now, but it's crazy down the line.
So for me too, like DLC, like I don't want to go back to a game that I haven't played for 6 months. I don't know how you guys feel about it too, because it's like if I play a game, like sometimes, have you ever played a game like 3/4 of the way to the end, and then you kind of fall off and you go back to the game and you just don't remember what you were doing, where you were going, how to play, and like you just literally like want to start the whole game over because
you restart or you finish it.
Yeah,
and most of the time you restart.
I most of the time restart because I'm so lost and I'm like, I'm not even gonna have fun trying to like figure this out and like get back on track. So I just start over. So like for me, that's like a huge thing with DLC. It's like I'm so like over that. I'm out of that mindset. I'm away from those characters, and I want to pay more money to go back to play like a 2 or 3 hour episode of like, because it's usually not like, I don't know, some DLCs and a good chunk of content, but a lot of it's like 4 to 5 hours, 8 hours worth of content, and I could care less. I think the first game I had a huge issue with that was Borderlands, like 2, I think, or something like that, because they just kept releasing DLC, and after a while, I was like, dude, enough. I'm not doing this anymore. Like, I played the game enough. Like, I don't give a crap how many patches. Like, enough. I'm not going back and do it anymore. Screw it. Release a new game. Stop doing this.
Just to counter that, Joe, I do agree with you most of the time, but right now I'm replaying Elden Ring so I can play the DLC when it comes out in May, and I'm loving it. So some games do it well,
If you love the game, I get it. If you can't get enough of a game, all DLC is good. I understand that logic. Like, if it's your favorite game in the world, you don't give a shit if it comes out 1 year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, but I get it. But my average game, like, I'm like, no thanks. Like, if it was my favorite game, sure. But then, like you said, I don't know. Don't you want to just wait? And then what pisses me off is they don't put it on the disc anyway now. That they don't even put it on the disc. The Elden Ring content's not on the disc. The new Cyberpunk game, it's not on the disc. They didn't put the DLC on the disc. Fucking assholes. Like, no reason to buy that stuff. I'm big on, like you said, like what's on the disc and what's not on the disc, Mac. Like, I look that up all the time. And like, perfect example, I was just talking, like, I'm looking at God Eater 2. There's like a cheap God Eater 2 for $20, and then there's a more expensive day one edition that comes with the digital download of the first game. I don't give a crap about no digital download. That might as well not exist. As far as I'm concerned, I'm thinking about longevity. I only care what's on the disc. So I just skipped the expensive version. I got the cheap one because there's no point in doing that. Another example of that is, have you guys seen the new Monster Hunter Stories release that's coming out on the Switch? What they're doing? So two is already released physically. You can buy part 2. 1 is coming out physically, and in the ESRB version, 1 is going to be on the cart, and then it comes with a digital download code for 2. And you have to buy that, like, it's priced as like 2 games in 1. It's not like a cheaper copy. So you have to buy this new copy, and it comes with a digital download for 2. Or you could get like a Japanese copy for like $20, and all it has is the first game on the cart. And I'm definitely doing that. Why the hell would I pay more money to get a digital download code for the second game? Why? What's the point? Why wouldn't I rather get the physical copy of part 2 and just the physical party? Like, it makes no sense.
Switch have been doing this lately a lot. Like, the new Pokemon games had DLC that came out, and they released them physically, but it was just the original games with download codes. Like, I'm not gonna buy that. I'm going to spend $150 for download codes when I already go in the games. Like, they did the same thing for Sword and Shield, but they were on the cart. And today, these games are like $200 each because they're Pokemon games with DLC on the cart, and people are like, "Oh my god, I don't own that." Oh, look up the price. Oh, it's already expensive. I need it now.
Yeah, Switch is a whole like I've got a decent little like stack. You can see it right over my ear right there. But like it's just like the stuff I really wanted. But Switch is kind of like putting a car in a fifth gear for me. I mean, it's like gone. I'm so confused on a lot of the things that are going on. Like there's so many things that are releasing for it. And like I can't even keep up with it. So I just kind of took a step back. But I got Ikaruga the other day.
Nice.
I love it on GameCube, and I didn't even know they had it out on Switch, and ended up, finding out about it and seeing it and got it, and but it's like there's so many things that are coming out for it that it's like is it something that is worth me playing if it has Ninja Turtles written on it? For instance, I bought the limited run Ninja Turtles game. Like I haven't played it yet though, so part of the backlog. But I got it because I love the Ninja Turtles games on pretty much every system. So it's like, I don't know, it's a little overwhelming for me.
Oh, I
Switch
definitely see
flavor is
that as
insane.
well, and I got overwhelmed out of collecting like everything that was being released and everything I wanted because it was just becoming crazy. Like they realized that nostalgic sells, and they realized their target audience isn't kids; it's people in their 30s and 40s and 50s who have been gaming for 20 years and now they're collecting and spending money.
Limited
they
Run
know
definitely
them now.
knows that.
Yeah,
Limited
100%.
Run like Rugrats, Ninja Turtles, 3DO games. Come on, old timer. Come buy our stuff. Like literally,
We're re-releasing
Bill and
Game Boy
Ted.
games.
Hey, yeah, exactly. It is straight up like,
I mean,
touch on
good
a
for them
comment
though, right?
quickly,
Good for them because they're doing something different in the industry, and they're actually in
I want
Raleigh,
it.
which is a 4-hour drive from me. I think they're NC
physical
State
store.
grads that started it, but like, or Apex, I guess people consider that Raleigh. It's like a suburb, but yeah, I mean, more power to them. They're doing something different, and they're successful at it. But
Oh,
you know.
I am a huge fan of porting old expensive games to modern consoles. Please keep doing that, especially expensive shit. Like like the old shmups. I like this generation for PS4 and the Switch for shoot 'em ups, shooters. Oh my god, heaven! Like all these crazy expensive Dreamcast games and crazy expensive Saturn games have gotten ported to PS4 and the Switch, and like, thank God, because I like the more and more I get into the genre, like the more and more I want to collect the stuff, and like, god damn, that stuff is expensive, dude. Like, and I'm always all for them getting ported and doing that. So I like that their companies are going back and pulling from the old content and re-releasing it on the modern consoles. I'm a huge fan of that.
Yeah, I am as well, especially when they do like collections of multiple games and things like that. Like, look at the treatment we got for Castlevania. We got like most of the Castlevania's games of 2 collections from Limited Run. Like, that's awesome.
Oh, we'll get them all. What are we missing? Just the DS ones now? I think they have.
And the PS3 games. Yeah, practically.
Wow. I mean, real guys.
But then people will be like, those games are stuck on the PS3 and they're the only ones. So.
Nobody's porting PS3 games anywhere. For some reason, the PS3 gets no love. Everything's stuck on that system.
Port the Xbox 360 version.
All right, so hold on. Let me talk about this for a second here. So, like, people are talking about this right now. So what I was doing with work was it was a sales position, like a management position. There was a lot of forecasting, a lot of analytics, like trend predictions. I've been looking into, just like everybody that's here, like I'm sure everybody here is like really in depth looking at trends on game systems, what's happening with it. But 360 and PS3, I'm calling it, man. It's like we're getting to a point where that cycle is about to start popping, and things that we, don't feel like we want, or maybe we haven't played. are going to start to kind of creep up, and then you're going to turn around, and these games that are $5, $6, $7, $8 are going to be like $30, and I'm 90% sure
right.
this is going to happen here. And then people are going to start trying to get back to it and pick some of the games out. So, and I've started from what I'm doing now, buying, lots of inventory and just kind of stacking it up. I got some things here from like 360, but this has been a good, just for me, it's been a good experience to just buy like a stack of games or something, right? And these are ones that are like clean and ready. And then to be going through it and see something and say, never even heard of that game before. That looks really cool. Like turn the back art over. I'm going to play this game. This looks fantastic. How did I never know about this before? Maybe it's a late release game, but then you also get little shocks of like value, like this game here. Like ended up, Need for Speed is like my driving game. I love Need for Speed, but like, this thing was like, I think it was like $30 or $40 or something. And
it's a collector's edition.
Yeah, gotta have it, right? But yeah, so I've had a lot of fun doing that, but it's also kind of raised some eyebrows on my behalf of saying, man, these things are actually, a couple of these games are $20. Like quite a few of them are $20. Last time I looked, they were $7. So I have a really strong feeling that PS3 and 360 are gonna go up pretty quick. And then when it comes to consoles, 360 in particular, the first release of it that has the hard drive you stick on the top, those things are dying like like boomers, or generation is after that. Like it's just a horrible analogy, but they go out.
They're dying like your nana. Sorry,
yeah,
I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that.
They go in to see the doctor and they don't come back. And then, the generation after that, like the E, nobody really kind of wants it. It's weird. Like Xbox is trying to push people onto the next one. But the S is a lot of just people at home are opening them up, trying to figure things out that are wrong, can't figure it out. I give up, thing goes in the trash. They throw it somewhere and don't ever see it again. So the value of those, I think, is going to start to rise pretty rapidly. A lot of the S's are like $70-$75, same price as like a PS3 Slim.
So yeah, the original Xboxes, they weren't even HDMI, right? They were just
first ones where you could get component out of it.
Component.
Actually, I think you could get component out of it. And then the S had HDMI, and you could do component. You could get like one of these cables that plugs into that funny little slot. You could do all kinds of stuff with that.
I have like a all-in-one component cable that has a hookup for a 360, a Wii, and a GameCube, a 360, and a PS2. I think like all in one. I've always wondered if that thing's worth any money. Probably. Maybe. Those old component cables can be worth mad money. So
definitely.
What I find interesting about the original 360 is if you can get one that's never connected to the internet before, it's still got the original, what they call Blade dashware, and that's worth hundreds of dollars. Like it's really, really desired. Just no updates.
Yeah, that was like the first time they ever did like a major software update on a console that I can remember, because it was like crazy. It was like a different console after they did it.
yeah, exactly.
I feel like your parents trying to operate a smartphone. They're like, well, how do I call somebody on this thing?
So why do people like the OG software? Just sort of because it's like
because you can't get it any other way.
It's okay, but if it doesn't like play better or have like, is it like hackable, or like is there like a reason?
I'm sure there probably is. I'm not into the Xbox scene enough to know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know that much. All I remember is my buddy had one that looked like R2D2. It was cool. No,
I got a story about finding one. My buddy Brady and me, who came on the show about 6 months ago, we went to this weird garage sale. It was like 40 minutes out of town in an area where you like don't get phone reception. And we went in and they had a Wii and a 360, and I bought a bunch of the games, and he bought the console for $20. And it was the original like day one Xbox 360. And he's like, I hope this is Blades. Blah, blah. I got it home. And of course it was, because you don't get internet reception out there like in the middle of the bush. So yeah, he was stoked.
That's pretty cool.
That's a cool find. speaking of cool finds and go back to PlayStation, anytime I get PS3s, when I turn them on, if they turn on, I don't cross my fingers there's a game inside, like I'm not trying to sound like give me a free game. I cross my fingers that it hasn't been wiped and that somebody downloaded the arcade X-Men game and that it's on there and I can get on there and play it. If that ever happens, that will be the absolute most treasured thing in my entire collection, because I think they had that available for a while on the store, and then they took it off of the store. And so I haven't found one yet, but I've heard it's like a unicorn to me, like a mythological.
There's a few titles like that. If you can find The Simpsons Arcade, that's another one that got pulled off the store. Another one that's not so desired anymore because Limited Run Games reprinted it, but it was Scott Pilgrim, the video game. I think that was another one that was only on the PS3, and then they got pulled from the store, and it was like the white unicorn. And then it got the physical, and now everyone's got it in their collection, so it's pretty cool.
So
Limited in the comments wrote that X-Men Arcade's on the Xbox 360 and they have it. I didn't know that.
Oh, nice.
Limited Run put out the polls on Twitter every once in a while, and they're like, "What old game would you love us to see us release?" And I always say X-Men Arcade. I'm like, hello, please, hello, can you please you gave us 55 Ninja Turtles games. Can we just get the X-Men and give me that and the Alien Predator beat them up on a combo. Give me those two. I don't even know if it's the same company, but give me both of them on the same disc. I don't care.
Dude, when I was
I'm sure it's like
I used to spend a stock full of quarters on that X-Men Arcade game at a time and still not beat it.
Yeah, that was like me and my brother were obsessed with that game. Fight over who gets everyone will fight over who gets to be Wolverine. But I still always let him pick Wolverine, so I would be Colossus. I would always
good
Colossus.
Man.
Yeah.
Good man.
Dude, that game was so good. I had like 2 screens, right? For some reason in my mind, I think I'm imagining 5, but I think it's like
I think
2,
some
right?
of them were 3.
So I thought there were 3 too, but then I've seen people say no, it was only 2, and I'm like confused because I thought it was a 3-screen machine too, and I thought it had like 5, 6 players you could do.
I think there's different versions of it. I don't know a ton about like arcade stuff. I know a little bit about like Neo Geo cabinets, and you can have like different slots and everything in it. There's like a 1 slot, 3 slot, like 6. If you get a 6 slot, that's the best one. But I remember maybe it was 2. I feel like there was 3 though, or it could have been somebody that kind of made one of those nowadays, one of the retrocades or something.
Let's just say 3, and if we're wrong, someone will yell at us in the comments.
Yeah,
sure. That'll be like the first thing. So what's that say? If you ever want to get the answer on the internet to a question, just say something wrong, and someone will correct you. You don't have to ask the question. You don't want to ask the question because nobody will answer you. But you just say, "This is how you fix it," and just say something that's wrong. Someone will be like, "No, it isn't. This is how you fix it." You're like, "Thank you." That's how you do it.
That's exactly what I wanted. And then argue about you didn't answer this part, so argue about that part. And then for step 2, do I do it this way? No. This is how you do it.
Man, people are crazy in comment sections. My number one thing I find weird about comment sections, especially on YouTube, is like somebody will make a video about like cooking eggs, and there'll be someone in the comment and be like, "I just want you to know, your videos kept me through the dark times, man. And I just want you to know how you're out there, you're changing lives, and I love you so much. Thank you." And I was like, what do you feel if you're the person making the video and you're like, "Oh, yay, thank you, great, I'm just making eggs. What the fuck's wrong with you?" I don't know. It's so weird, man. These people put these like crazy comments in there. I'm like, you need a therapist, not a fucking YouTube comment. Like, go see somebody. Sorry,
I've been getting some weird ones lately, and I just reply.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Watching the video.
Yeah. Just you'll see it now. Just read comment sections and you'll see it. You'll always see these comments. These people like, "So I've been going through it right now, man. And I love you and your channel." And I'm like, it's like, fucking, I put my dog in a cute hat. Okay.
The comments I get are more on what you first brought up in like, it'll be a video from 2007 and something I said, and like times changed and it doesn't mean what I said anymore, and they've like corrected me on it. It's like, well, Yeah, because the video is 7 years old.
Yeah, or you're like speculating, like I think this might be rare, and it got reprinted or something. You're like, yeah,
Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah, okay.
So I say, when you remember how you were saying that you think the 360 and the PS3 are kind of going to hit their stride. Like I think people like Figsy, you're going to see some increases in your views for a lot of those old collection videos because there'll be a lot of people getting into it, and they'll be looking for
Well, that's interesting.
resources.
Some of them are doing quite well, like old videos getting 100 views a day and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I noticed when I
the-
sold off a lot of my games that some of the like $5 shooters were going for like $30-$40. It's like, who's buying this shit?
I'm curious the age demographic that's watching this right now. If people commented, that would be pretty cool to see. But so speaking of like comments too, there was a YouTuber that his YouTube video was, I bought an Xbox 360 in 2023. Does it still slap? And you know, like different terminology from what I use, but and I don't know how the video, you know, the algorithm, good, thank you algorithm that day. That was a good one. So I watched it and I commented on it. I said, this is awesome to see a completely different generation for me. I'm 37. See a different generation from me, like far off, that is like putting something like this up, because this is what got me back into retro games. You know, I never sold a lot of my stuff, but like got me really back into it. And I got it got moved up to the top of it. There was a couple other things I wrote, but and the guy that put the video up was like, this is such a wholesome comment, you know, because he wasn't used to it. He was used to like off the wall comments, and
Yeah,
and there wasn't a lot of older people that were older, I guess 37. There weren't a lot of people my age or older writing in his comments or watching his videos, and so it spoke to me to say there's this whole other generation that is hitting this stride that we hit, you know, me as a 37-year-old that I hit, you know, a decade and a half, 2 decades ago. Like they're hitting that stride now of like the nostalgia factor, and they've got some more money they can spend. And just seeing that video, and it was like a 3 million view video. Like, cool. And I never heard of this person before. And so just kind of, it really shocked me to see that. And it felt good too, to see that, where it's like, maybe we feel like collecting is kind of going away, or like this generation, and, you know, what are people into? It's just changing a little bit, and other people are hitting their nostalgia factor. So it's going to be interesting to see how that, you know, moves the market, and if it continues. And I think it will.
So I think
important to keeping like the reason the price of things go up is the future generations. Like if we look at the N64, it's expensive because people in their 30s and 40s who had the N64 as a kid are collecting it right now. So it'll be that generation of kids who were kids when the PS3 were out, when they're in their 20s and 30s and 40s and they got all this money. Do they want to go back and relive their childhoods? And if they do, well, then PS3 and the Wii and the 360 will follow trends of what we've seen in the past of all those old systems.
Yep.
So I think we were so lucky, dude. I think we lived, obviously, I mean, I'm biased, but like we got to live some like the best time for gaming ever, dude, where it was just off the wall, crazy, no rules, just pure nuts, fun stuff. And like nowadays, like, I don't know, man, I feel like kids aren't allowed to have fun. So I could see a lot of kids going back and like experiencing some of these older like TV shows, and like especially, and like games and stuff, and just being like, man, these people were allowed to have fun back then. This is way better. I don't know. I just could see it being more appealing, like in a way that, like, I don't know, like, I don't know. When I was a kid, for me, I guess it was like people romanticize like the hippie generation, Woodstock, being able to do that sort of stuff and like be free and like, you know, do all that crap. And I guess like for, you know, these kids, they're going to be like, they were allowed to use bad words. Oh my God. They were allowed to do this and say stupid crap and make dirty jokes and make dumb stuff. You know what I mean? Like none of that stuff's allowed anymore. You can't have.
You say stupid things on the internet and not get in trouble for it.
Oh, they'll never know what it's like to be in an AOL chat room or a Modern Warfare lobby back in the day. Like, you know, I'm just saying, it's not going to be the same. nowadays, like you get banned if you're misbehaved. Microsoft will find you and shut you off. You're not like.
Well, everyone's listening to everything you say, and watching everything you do and things like that.
It's not as fun. I could see them romanticizing some of the stuff and going back and wanting to play it. I definitely do. I don't know. The games are crazy back then, like just crazy games, dude. Like really, like what's that game like? You just play a giant woman in a bikini trashing a city as Godzilla. Like they don't make games like that.
Oh yeah, bikini demolition.
Yeah, what the hell, man? We don't get good stuff like that. No, we actually get straight up like pervy games now, actually. So maybe we get worse stuff now that I think about it. Maybe.
If anybody's got a big YouTube channel, this was like what I was thinking. It's like you should challenge some of these people to like play some of the legit games that we played growing up, because I mean they are so incredibly challenging versus a lot of the games nowadays, and a different definition of challenge, but like there's one. I don't buy a lot of like repros or anything. A lot. I barely buy any, or like homebrews or anything. But Gimmick on NES, Mr. Gimmick. Has anybody heard of that?
Yeah. I have it on Evercade, and I have it on PS4.
Yeah, I mean it's like a jillion dollars the original. I think it's PAL only too.
Yeah,
Figsy might know that, but. Man, it's a really fun game, and it's a really hard game. And I've had friends that have come over that have played it, and they're like, dude, this game's incredible. But yeah,
it's supposed to be like one of the best NES games, but like you said, it only got a PAL release, so it's insanely expensive to get an actual cart for it. So there's nothing wrong with repros, dude. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, if you want to play Earthbound, you can play it in a repro. You don't have to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
I get into the whole, secondary market, and it's like feeling for other people. It's like, well, what if somebody was to buy that? I heard a story about somebody that bought there was somebody that was really looking for a retro game for Christmas. Like it was something they'd been wanting for a long time, and like their parents had saved up and bought it for them. It was like a heavy hitter. And they ended up opening it on Christmas morning, and they were like, immediately, being a retro collector, like me, I open a Sega Saturn case and I can smell if it's fake or not.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're in
that PS3 games, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So like he opens it and it's Christmas morning. He's like immediately knows it's not real. Like something's off on it, and didn't really have the heart to tell his parents about it, but like that kind of stuff to me, it's like
it should say clearly labeled on the label, on the card itself. Like the actual plastic shells should say repro, not the labels. Like if you order them, they should say that. It should be very clearly marked. Yeah.
But like 3DO boxes, there's a guy that lives one town over from me, who is his Instagram's like Panasonic 3DO. And he's got every single version of it, like all kinds of stuff. And he's able to make like, he's like perfected boxes now where he can reprint 3DO, like the long boxes. He can actually reprint them, and they are virtually like indifferential from like the originals. It's pretty insane, and it scares me at the same time, with like prices of some of these things, and
well, that's
like Neo Geo stuff too, man. Neo Geo. Oh my god! What if you were to spend $9,000?
Look 100% legitimate, then you have to be concerned. And if they're selling a game for $10,000 or a $20,000 game, like is this game being ripped off? And when it comes down to being like collecting this stuff, you don't just look at the outside. You got to pull the carts open and look at the boards, and you have to know the inside and outside of your game before you buy it. Like, do your research.
Dude, if I was buying a game for $25,000, I'd be like, I do like the mafia thing where I'd be like, we must exchange our eldest sons for 6 years, and if as long as the peace stays, they will survive. That's the only way. There's no other way I'd be doing. I couldn't, dude. I wish I was in a position to buy a game for $30,000. I'd be doing pretty good. Let's just hope I have that problem someday.
But if you were, $30,000 probably wouldn't be much to you,
No, that's what I'm saying. If I was ever considering spending that much money in a video game, my life would be freaking sweet. Let's put it that way. So whatever.
Well,
I
Joe,
guess
what you just brought up.
I'd have to go back to my yacht and cry on my supermodel girlfriend's boobs and just be like, "Oh, I ripped off, Gunny. Oh well, let's do coke and fly around the gun." No, I'm just kidding.
That's not as prevalent in the video game collecting scene, but in the card collecting scene, to avoid getting ripped off and buying fakes, people just buy graded cards because they know it's already gone through a grading company and it's 100% legit, and that can't be faked. So maybe we'll see in the future that, oh, I've got this really expensive game for sale. Well, can you get it graded and then I'll buy it off you because that way I know it's legitimate.
I don't trust anybody to authenticate a game except for me. I got to see it before it's authenticated. Don't care what the company is. I think a lot of people will probably appreciate that. Like, I don't know. I just haven't bought into it, man.
I wouldn't pay extra, so that's the problem. Like, I don't. People getting things graded to me, like, that's just a fancy, nice case you put on it. That's all it means to me. The numbers and the stuff, I like. To me, it doesn't have the weight that it does to other people. But again, and that's not really my scene. So, but like I've seen, like I've been collecting PlayStation magazines, and like I saw I saw a graded copy one that was like selling cheaper than like regular copies. I was like, what the hell? Why is that? I was like, I guess I could buy that, but I'm like, I don't want it. Why would I want one issue in this case graded randomly? Now I have that one issue. Now I feel like I got to grade all these damn things, and I don't want to do that. So it's like, nah, I don't know.
Turner D. Century wrote, "Didn't Wada grade a fake game?" I haven't heard about that, but that
they did. It was like Castlevania or Rondo of Blood from Japan or something like that. Some shit like that.
I think there was a reason behind it, and they did include it on the back that it was a custom made, one of a kind, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
because it wasn't on the front, the photo went viral, and people on the internet quickly started talking.
Yeah, so it was like, I think they said it was like a graded repro, and they knew it was a repro or something, but they still graded it because it's still worth money.
They put information on the back of the cases too, not the front, like DGA do. So it can be oh, they've graded it, and here it is. You got to read the fine print. Joe, I want to touch on a thing you brought up like an hour ago, where talking about graded games and things like that. It's a rich man's hobby because it's easy inventory in and out. It's not the hobby that we got into where video games are cheap and I just want to play them. It's a completely different type of people buying this stuff, and a lot of them are just investors who are buying them for a short term to flip later on down the line. Different things like that.
I'm not into collecting really expensive stuff, so that whole world has no effect on me. Like, if that's what somebody wants to do, if somebody wants to spend a lot of money on expensive games and flip them in a couple of years, I go ahead. I'm over that. Like to me, like the most I would ever spend on a game, seriously, ever out of pocket would be like $300. I would never spend a penny more than that. Anything more than that is trade territory. We're talking about trades. Like if you have something worth $500 or something, I might get it from you, but we're trading. I'm giving you like, here's 10 of these games. I don't, there's no way I'm just coming out of pocket for that much money for a game. So to be honest, like I don't complain about stuff like that because it's like, it's not my world anyway. Like I'm not doing that. I am trying to find good deals on PS4 games right now, PSP games right now, PS3 games that people aren't looking at. That's the stuff. I have fun collecting stuff that's not trendy to collect as much, if that makes sense. Like,
well, then you feel better about it too. So then it's more rewarding instead of like if you buy a game and you spent way too much and it wasn't planned. Like I used to buy one game a year and it was like one big one a year, and I would plan for it, so it wasn't like a financial burden. And if you buy a game and it doesn't feel good when you have it in your hand walking out of the store, you did something wrong, and you should probably try to like go back and change that around because it's not going to get better.
Anytime I buy a game brand new, full price.
Yeah.
Is that fun?
Yeah.
Is that fun though? Like you said, that's a problem though. Like, are you enjoying yourself now, or are you collecting because you feel like you have some sort of weird obligation to, or an obsession with it, or a compulsion to it, or are you trying to impress people or something? Like, why are you doing it at that point? Like, I buy games in my mind because at least I think I want to play them. Someday I lie to myself and say I'm going to play these games. And I never will get to all of them, but like I only buy games that I'm really interested in and I think are like fairly priced and I want to buy them. So like half of the fun for me is collecting is I have like this list of games that I want and I just check the prices and I wait. And I check the prices and I wait. And I check the prices and I wait. And then one day, one of these sites I catch them slipping and they're like, there's that game. It's on sale for $19.99. I'm like, I don't know why it is for this week, but now is the time. And then I buy it. And then I'm like, I feel good about it. Like you said, I'm like, yes, that game that was $70 for the last 2 years. I was patient and I waited and I finally I got it for $20 or $30 or whatever it is. And that feels good because I wanted it and I'm going to play it and I got it for a good deal. Everything about that feels good.
Fate collides at some point. And you never know what it's going to be. I was up the street. I took the guy owns a PC repair shop, asked me to work on his Commodore 64. He wanted one for himself, and he doesn't know how to do that. I'm like, you got a PC repair shop? He's like, I don't do the old stuff. But anyway, I go up there, and there's a guy waiting in line. There's a lady yelling at him, and I just tried to ease the conversation and talk to this other guy and be social. And I was like, yeah, I'm into, retro games. Like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah. He's like, you got any Dreamcast? I was like, yeah, I got some Dreamcast. He's like, are you selling any of them? And I was like, well, there's like one that I'm looking at selling, but it's just because I don't play it, and so that's kind of where I am. Is like if it's something that I didn't buy and I got it or was given to. However, all my Dreamcast games that are right here, this stack right here, those are all my Dreamcast. I didn't buy one of them. Kind of sad story. Not to get off topic here. There's somebody that passed away in a town in North Carolina, and one of my good friends was his mom's neighbor. And she was like, he's got a bunch of video games, and I want somebody to have them that appreciates old games. And I'm like, I'm your guy. And so I went into her house. I walk in, and I see 360. Most of my 360, which you can't see down there, was like from him. I mean, I had a 360 growing up. That was one of my consoles in the whole generation, but I didn't have a lot. I had like, 20 games or something. And so I saw 360. I'm like, it's, 360 and Xbox. Okay. It's great. Like I'll take them and I'll appreciate it for sure. And if I don't, I'll find somebody and I'll give it to them. That's a collector or gamer, that will appreciate it. Well, then she's like, I got some more over here. I go in the next room, box of Dreamcast, like 75 games. And then a stack of TurboGrafx CD this big.
Oh goodness!
And I like
that's a heart
palpitation. I farted out loud, like
in
her house, and it's like, "Excuse me," and she's like, "Okay, obviously you like this," but it was good memory there. But
yeah, that's awesome, and you're gonna treasure them as well. So
yeah, but so the guy that I'd met at the computer repair shop that was asking me about Dreamcast, he's like, well, are you, I'm really looking for a copy of Illbleed. And that's the game that I was like considering. It was like one of my trade items that I had where if somebody asked me or wanted it, that I'm not into the horror games like that. And I was like, I'd happily trade it because it's just sitting on my shelf. And so he was like, I'll just pay you for it. And he's like, just because I know it's authentic. I can look at it in person and see it and look at the condition of the CD. It hasn't been, like, nothing's been done to it, so it was great. It felt really good to like give somebody something or sell it, but like offload it. It's your collection. Like those are your things, and you treasure them. And so for somebody else to get it, paid me, but it felt really good, and he was really happy about it. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, man, that's gosh, fine. So Dreamcast. And so I like the Dreamcast to collect for because it's like a reasonable set. Like it's not too overwhelming. Like I feel like it's actually like accomplished. It's expensive, but you can do it. And then TurboGrafx, finding the the games at all isn't amazing, and finding the CDs, that's even more amazing, man. It's like so even when I remember I saw that TurboGrafx, I think it was just the card games. I don't even remember anybody having the CD add-on or anything like that. It was just the
I don't have a CD add-on either, just for the record. After I got those, I was like, oh, I got to get that. And it was like, even back then, it was still insane. It was like $500 or something. So
you got to get the analog. Did you get the...
I can play them on the PC Engine.
Yeah, you can play them on the PC Engine. And then the analog just came out with their TurboGrafx clone or whatever. I don't know if you know that.
I haven't dug into the analog. It looks pretty cool because you can swap out the things. But I like.
No, that's the Poly Mega you're thinking of. The Poly Mega.
Yeah. Okay, yes.
That's the one where you can like switch out the units. That thing's, it's cool, but it is really expensive. And like I don't see, like, you have all the consoles and you have everything. It's
I
not
enjoy that more. I'm not sure because I have questions about like emulation and like if I play it on here, what is going to be the difference when it goes out and like to these different monitors? And honestly, that becomes a big time thing for me now. I've got like kind of what I like figured out with the way things are connected through the Extron and then the the SCART and all the different other stuff and so it's just it's like opening another door that could have an inception of doors behind that. Unless I want to go down that road.
If you already have a way to play them, and you have like the actual real hardware, that's the way to go. It's just I thought you were like, I don't have a CD. I didn't realize you had a PC Engine. Like if you have no CD add-on, you have no way to play the games. I'm like, you should get the analog. That's what I would do if at this point, if I didn't have the hardware, I would go that route.
The Analog Pocket looks cool though. I have considered buying one of those.
It's just cool that there's so many different options today that we didn't have back in the day. Makes it so accessible.
It helps bring people into some of the old games too, that might otherwise not.
Yeah,
not everyone has a CRTV and different things like that.
And I feel like releasing those consoles creates a little bit of hype around that console. Like I said, they've announced that they're going to do an N64, and I guarantee you, like 6 months prior and 6 months after that thing comes out, N64 game prices will be going up. Like it's going to be like more interest in that. Like it's funny, like the gaming community has a hive mind almost. Like I feel like everybody gets interested in like the same shit, like at the same time and it's all like one guy makes a video about it, and then other people get a video, and it kind of like, and somebody else talks about it, and then somebody else picks up the game, and now 3 people are showing off the game, and now everybody's like wants it, or like or like that always happens when like a new game comes out in a franchise. All of a sudden, the old games are becoming more valuable. It's like it's weird how that always works.
Like the Alien Resurrection game when that video came out.
Yeah, and all of a sudden everybody wanted it. Exactly. That's exactly me. We have a hive mind where like all of a sudden everybody wants like the same thing at the same time. And it's so weird how that happens because I don't think it's planned per se. It's not like we all get together as nerds and we're like,
I think that's got to do with FOMO.
That's what we're gonna do.
Definitely.
Oh, I don't want to miss out. I need to get it right away. But the better thing is to write it down on a piece of paper and just wait. And
when they zig, you zag, right? It's like stocks. Buy when everybody's selling. If everybody's focused on, what if you look on YouTube, whatever everybody's putting videos out about, like you need to be looking the opposite direction, because that's where you're going to be able to find some of the things you really want. That maybe people are like, all right, I'm not playing this now. I'm going to sell this because I want to go get that, and then you can find some better deals. Like for Metal Gear, right now, that PlayStation video out. I like that was cool, and having Reggie on there, that was really, really cool. That was one of my favorite videos I've seen in a while, just because it was like Reggie was back on there, and it kind of felt like there's some nostalgia to it. Yeah,
it felt like the old days. That's what I liked about that video too.
But when I saw that, I'm like, I knew that was gonna. I kind of deep down knew that was gonna happen because like I was like PlayStation 3, I feel like is gaining some momentum, and I bet people are gonna start hopping on it, and then the bigger YouTubers are going to get on it, and then bam, there you go. So
I'm noticing right now on Twitter that all the crypto like promoters are back, and they're paying to have their posts on ads and stuff. And the price of Bitcoin's high right now, so of course. And as soon as Bitcoin dies again, that'll just completely disappear. It's just like all things.
Oh God, does that mean video cards are going to be ridiculous again? Do I need to get one now? Are we going to have one of those things too? Oh, dude, that's some bullshit. I'm like,
Nvidia is like the 4th most expensive company in the world. You know?
yeah.
Crazy.
I saw a funny meme. It was like the world economy, and it was being carried by Nvidia, basically. Because like we run off Nvidia. Think of how many businesses, everything. I mean, the world does run off of them. So
Yeah, pretty much. It's like it goes gold, and then I think it was Apple, an oil company, and then it's Nvidia. It's crazy. In terms of like total market cap.
do we have a quiz this week? Tracy?
We do.
All right, we're like way
Remember?
far into the show. We should do that sometime.
Oh, Reggie's on the show too. He just commented.
Yo, for the Game
Awesome.
on Expo. What's
That's
up?
awesome. Love him.
How's it going, Reggie? All right, guys, let's get into it. We got the
Reggie's
Fixie
dropping
quiz.
fire videos this week. He's got that one. He put up his Reggie's at this year's Expo, and he just released the video for last year's Expo.
And the backlog is real and for YouTube.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Before I start asking you guys some questions, I asked a question to chat on Friday and no one got it right. So guess what? You guys have got the same question from last week. I asked you guys to name the video game and no one got it correct. So from these 3 photos, including our guests from last Thursday/Friday, can you guys name the video game? And this one's just for chat.
I know what it is.
Don't say anything. Now, while you guys are thinking about that, let's get into the quiz. So it's going to be very similar to the quiz last week. We're going to do it a little bit differently. Instead of showing you guys the hints, I'm going to read the hints one at a time, and you guys will be trying to answer the game each time. So how it's going to work is there's 2 questions, and 2 major questions, and each question you guys will take turns in getting hints, and you're trying to guess the game franchise. So they're both famous game franchises. Yeah, let's start. Joe, I'm going to get you to start because Mac hasn't played before, and it's an advantage to go second.
Okay. So this is like last week where I have to pick either a clue or whatever. Like,
yeah, exactly. Except I'm going to be telling you the hints. So the first hint is the SNES game of this franchise is one of the most expensive games for that console. Try and guess the game, or
it's a franchise, so there's more than one of them.
Yep.
For SNES, most expensive games. Well, I was gonna say a game, but that ain't a. I'll say a game. Maybe that is part of a franchise.
Yeah, you can say again.
No, Hagane. That's the game. That's the name of it. Hagane.
Oh.
Hagane. Hagane.
Oh no, that's not it. Sorry. If he said I'll say a game. All right, say it.
I just know that's a really expensive SNES game. So.
All right, Mac.
Oh, man.
Next clue. For the Xbox, an armor similar to the main character's outfit makes a cameo in Halo 3 as an unlockable character set.
I'm not gonna be able to get it. Halo 3, man, 1 and 2 were like prime for me. 3 was like the phase out.
You can pass. That's all right. I'll go on to the next.
Pass.
All right, Joe. For the Nintendo DS, this game is played in a directional top-down view with 3D graphics, and the player needs to hold the DS sideways to play. Now I've got a photo of it. This is how you play this game on the DS. All these questions are the same franchise.
SNES. They play it vertically. To play it, it's got armor. Fudge. I don't know. I'm bad at this.
Are these supposed to be hard?
Yes, dude. This is this like ritual humiliation for me every week. I never know this shit.
All right, we'll go on to Mac. The next clue. This, I guess, for the Master System. This game for SMS was a PAL exclusive.
Oh, come on, man. That's loaded. PAL exclusive.
PAL exclusive Master System game that was also on SNES. That also had Armor in a 360 game. It was also on DS. Oh, shoot.
But different games.
That's a lot of clues.
Franchise.
Yeah, but it's part of this franchise, but it's like the same series, but they're all different games. Yeah.
You want to pass, Mark?
Pass. Yeah.
All right, Joe. For the PS3, there are 5 games of this franchise on PS3.
What the fuck? 5 of them? On PS3? Gosh. I don't know. Is it a Gundam game? I don't know.
Good answer, but it wasn't a Gundam game. All right, Mac, next clue. Nintendo. One of the Metroid games for Nintendo was made by the same video game developers as the hidden franchise.
Oh, man. The Aero Fighters?
Not Aero Fighters. All right, Joe. Next clue is I'm going to show you part of a cover of one of the
No, it's that guy, black guy. I don't know his name, man. I don't know who that is. Double Dragon. No, that ain't it.
Not Double
No,
Dragon.
wait, because it's not Double Dragon. That came out in the U.S. and it's on Master System. I don't know. I'm just saying words. Is there strikes? Am I gonna get loose? Should I stop guessing?
No, it just keeps going. Just
Okay,
over to
good.
Mac now. Next
right.
clue, Mac. The first game in the franchise in the PAL region had a different title to the US title.
Man. One of the most expensive on the Super Nintendo. It's just tough. Man. This is tough. There wasn't a Shinobi, was it? On the
No,
Not
nice.
Shinobi. All right, guys, I've run out of clues. However, we do have one final clue, which I'll reveal to both of you at the same time. And then first person to get the franchise gets the point. So the final clue is the last completion of games is known as the Master Collection.
Terrible. It's 5 of them on the PS3. Master.
Give you guys 30 seconds to think about it.
It was on the. I don't.
No one's gotten the chat question either.
I legitimately.
It's got to be a shooter.
It was on the Sega Master System in PAL and the SNES. Fantasy Zone.
Not Fantasy Zone. All right, guys. Mac, you want to have a last shot at it?
Man. No. I got no clue.
So this franchise we were after was Ninja Gaiden. So we had the one Metroid game that was done by Team Ninja with the 5 games on PS3. We've got the Super Nintendo title. This is the armor from the Halo game. Yeah.
Oh, it makes
Again,
sense now. I
yeah.
just, I forgot that ever came out on the Master System. That's tough.
Yeah, that's I mean, I don't know if I would have got that. Maybe with the PS3 one. Might have got
So
that.
when you say there's 5 games, I never considered 3 and Razor's Edge 2 different games, even though it is or whatever, because it's like a remake of the 3. Even though so they came out with Ninja Gaiden 3, and then it like wasn't I don't know, it wasn't as good or something, and then have like Razor's Edge, which is like they redid it and made it so
better. Yeah, it counts as
Whatever.
2 different games.
Yeah, it does.
All right, let's move on to the next question. See if we get some points. So Mac, you're gonna go first in this one.
Okay.
So new franchise. First clue: the Atari. Atari Jaguar was the first console where the first game of this franchise was released.
Ooh. I don't know. I mean, I could guess with no penalty, though, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what the first release was. I feel like it might have been PC, but was it Doom?
Doom might have been the first release, but it was the first release of this one franchise. So it could have counted as one. It wasn't Doom. All right, Joe, your first clue. For the PS1, UK sales of the first game in the series, was more than Tomb Raider 2 and Gran Turismo. Wow.
Wow.
That actually blew me away.
On the Jaguar and the PS1 sales. So it was on the PS1 and the Jaguar, the franchise. I don't know. I was gonna say Alien vs Predator. It's the only damn game I know on the Jaguar.
Not Alien versus Predator.
I don't know.
All right, Mac, next clue. This is the numbers clue. There are more than 30 game titles in the series. However, the highest digit in the title is 3.
Pass.
All right, Joe, next clue.
30
Main
games.
character of the franchise was named Best New Character Award of 1995 by Electronic Gaming Monthly.
30 games. The Jaguar. The first games of the Jaguar. Fucking Jaguar. And there's a popular in the UK. I don't know, Mr. Bean. I don't know. Is there Mr.
All
Bean
right,
in the Jaguar?
Next clue. This is a PS4 clue. The last game of this franchise for PS4 was released in 2014.
It's over 30 games. Oh, I think I'm gonna guess. I think. No, that didn't come out on that, did it?
Oh man. Pass.
All right, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
Europeans M's title was changed to other in the US because M might be mistaken for the ESRB rating of mature instead of multiplayer.
Worms.
Good answer, but it wasn't Worms.
Is that even on the Jaguar? I'm trying to think. I don't know anything about the Jaguar, dude. God damn it. Just gotta get off that. Stop thinking about the Jaguar.
Next clue is I'm going to show you a photo that's part of one of the front covers. Definitely see Worms, but it's not Worms.
Oh man, I don't know. Pass.
All right, Joe. I'm going to show you a poster from one of their advertisement posters of a few things removed.
Okay. Oh, what the fuck?
A few more clues in here.
No arms, huge features. Who has no arms? Who has no arms? What is going on with the shadow? And he's peeing in the. I'm just more confused than I was before that picture. You got to get like a video game expert on here for this. I don't know things. I don't know.
Oh dang it! I've kind of got it in my head.
Earthworm Jim.
Close, but not
That's
the answer.
no. I know it's not the answer.
All right, I've
This
run
is-
out of clues. However, last time I do have one extra clue. I will reveal it, and then you guys have both got 30 seconds to think about it. First one to answer gets the point. Final clue is the game is made by Ubisoft.
Who has no arms? Pac-Man. Who was on the Jaguar first? Wait a minute. Fuck, what was that game that was on the Jaguar? There was somebody on there first. Oh man, what is it?
You got 10 seconds, guys.
Oh my god, why am I thinking of? No, that's not right.
Oh, I can't think of the name. I've got it like in my head.
I keep thinking of
Because it's
No,
like a
I
mix
hear
of like a 90. It's like a mix of a mid 90s kid, like what kids
Is
were
it,
wearing at that time.
yes, it's like a oh shit.
Like skater looking kind of. But
Is it
what is it?
is it Rayman?
It is Rayman.
No.
Oh my god.
It is Rayman. Well done, Joe.
I was thinking of Vector Man. Over
That's
and
what I
over
was
again in
thinking
my
of.
head. It's Vector
I was
Man.
thinking of Vector Man.
But I'm like, he's on the Genesis.
Somebody said it in the comments, Rayman, and I remember thinking like, no.
No reading
Yeah.
comments during the quiz. I should have said that.
But that was a good one. That was a good one, Figsy.
Well done,
we
Joe.
should've
Joe
gotten that.
takes this week's Figsy's quiz right
There's
at the
30 of those games?
That's
Is
crazy.
that really? That's what threw me off too. So half of the time on these questions, there'll be some factoid that I had no idea about some franchise. There's 30 of those games.
I think with those questions, if it makes no sense to you, you got to put it out of your mind. Like the Atari Jaguar, it made no sense to me because I had no clue it was released on there. But the other clues made a lot of sense. So if I ignored that, I might have been able to get it.
No, there's like 3 things I know about the Jaguar, and the Alien vs Predator. There's a God, what's the game where you freaking like the Atari game? What the hell's the matter with me? And you have the little rotating thing.
Bubble kind of thing?
No, you like shoot around and you shoot that down the tunnels. Oh my god, what is the matter with me? My brain doesn't work anymore, guy. There's like a really good Atari game on the Jaguar, I believe. It's escaping me. Tempest 2000. Yes, that's it. Tempest. My man, Axiom got me. That one's on there, and then the Rayman. That's the only thing that is notable on that whole console. And I always think like Bonk is on there, but that's the TurboGrafx 16 because I always confuse that.
I can picture that.
I don't know. The Jaguar was a terrible system. Have you ever seen it? Like the actual controller? It's absurd.
No one's gotten the chat question yet, guys. We'll be keeping that until someone gets it correct.
Yeah, there it is. Look at that thing. That
Uncomfortable.
That doesn't even look like a good time. That
The
looks like
number
something.
pad.
That looks like the controller you would get at school. They'd be like, "We're gonna play games." You're like, I don't know. Dude, Jesus Christ, these quizzes have been brutal. Do we have any? Is that it? Do we have any more? Is that it?
No, that's it. That's it.
Oh, thank God. Hey.
You guys got any pickups to show?
I've got a good one for you, Figsy.
There's
Yeah.
a couple little things.
I found this at Lost Ark, which is a game store that's in Greensboro, North Carolina. One of my favorites on the planet. And I bought it because I'd never seen it before. And it's very unusual, but it's got a logo on here that I want you to look at and tell me if you've seen this before. I'll get out of this light here. There we go.
Oh wow, that's the old Australian logo. That's so
Right
that logo
Australian made.
Yeah, it means it's an Australian made product. And it used to go on products like 20 years ago that were made in Australia. That's cool.
Yeah.
that
I
came
thought it
out
was really
fire.
cool to see it like in the box and everything. And it's a weird cart too. Like I guess you might have
Yeah.
seen these things before, but
Yeah, that is
really weird. It doesn't play out like it works on the top load on my top loader, but the toaster it like sometimes it has trouble.
That's not the answer, Figsy.
Oh, let me just check. I think that.
That's what I thought it was. Sorry to interrupt you, but nice.
Yeah, well done.
Good job, Mario. Well done.
Mario nailed it. Heart of the Forest is great.
Yeah, so literally I Googled Heart of the Forest because I knew that was forest. And that's the only reason I knew what it was because I Googled it. But you know, good for you, buddy.
It's good cover art. This looks like a game that I would buy.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
I think it's I'm not sure. I think it's a visual novel. So those games are weird. They came out with like that game and the Vampire Masquerades game. They came out with like 2 visual novel games randomly. So I don't know. I think that might be one of them. Anyway, good. Sorry, just going off a tangent.
I'd probably enjoy that.
Yeah.
So I've been playing. I've gotten back into PS2 a lot lately. Main reason because, I went to visit a friend that's out on the coast here, and there's a thrift store across the street from where his house was, and I'm like, I had like 2 beers. I said, man, I got a feeling I'm gonna walk over to this thrift store. I walk over there, and they had video games, PS2 games, and I was like blown away. And they had Obscure, which I haven't played. And again, I'm not into like these kind of games, but I have played a few of them. And I'm looking forward to this actually, mainly because I found a video game that was like, an older video game, and it was in a random thrift store, and it was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't expensive. So yeah, that was cool.
That is cool.
I haven't opened this yet. This is on my quick backlog here.
Oh, that game's amazing.
Everybody said it's really good, and I love shooters, and so I'm really looking forward to this one. And I think I like anything that's got like bright colors, and kind of they might give you the warning that if you're if you're epileptic, then be careful here. Like that calls me. I want to get those games.
Yeah, that game is hard.
I love it.
Yeah,
Anything's hard.
There's a lot of shmups out there that I'm like, I can't wait to play this, and then after a week or two, I'm like, screw this game. This is a sadist. Who made this? What is this? It's so hard. Like those games are just like, I don't know, test of patience. But then what happens is you play them enough, and then you realize all you have to do is this little pattern. You swing around this one way, and then that's it. Or like you realize that you go over the top of the screen during one section or something, and it all like clicks.
That doesn't make sense to do something like that, Literally think outside of the box, go outside of the screen.
Yeah, so a lot of the time, a lot of people figure you hang out at the bottom and you try to dodge the bullets, but that's not the best thing to do. A lot of the times you want to be like up at the top of the screen because this weird ass pattern covers the whole bottom of the screen. You just want to hang out up here and then come down underneath it or go over it, or it's funny. Like I'll be like struggling sometimes, and then like someone in a chat or you'll watch a video and you're just like, oh, you just stand right here and nothing hits you. You're like, oh, what the hell? I didn't know that. This makes the whole game easy. Why did I do that? Just stay right there. So
yeah, I try not to give into those temptations. Shooters, I mean, there's different definitions of hard. Actually, for anybody that's played this Genesis game, my definition of hard shooters, y'all probably can't hear that. One of my definitions of hard shooters is when you can't just push a button and it just shoots. Something like this. Has
Yeah,
anybody
tap
played
it.
this?
Hellfire, yeah. You have to
Holy
actually mash
crap,
the
man!
button.
I mean, you're like biting your lip the whole time, and then if you lose your power ups, it's like I just want to walk away, man. Like I can't get back to where I was.
Oh, there's plenty of games where if you die once, you just start over. You're like, nah, forget it.
Yeah. I like shooters, like RPGs, and then I really like stuff that is like the claymation kind of stuff, where where they actually made games with that, like Skull Monkeys. I have that back there. Like things that are like that. I really enjoy those. So I bought Folklore. I'm really looking forward to this one.
Yeah, it's
It's got kind of like a weird, a lot about buying games. It's not just about the game to me. If it's a good cover, I'll buy things based on the cover too. But yeah, this one looked really cool, and I got it from a friend. So looking forward to playing that one.
I haven't played it yet, but it's one of those like must have in your collections for PS3 type games. Everybody says it's really fantastic. So I've never heard anybody say it's not a fantastic game. So
yeah.
Yeah, it's
going back on PlayStation. It's I don't have a huge PlayStation collection. I pivoted to the Xbox route, and then PlayStation had all the good RPGs, or a lot of the good RPGs, and so I ended up picking up some of the PlayStation stuff late just to go back and play some of those RPGs. But I went off on the Xbox, GameCube, that whole direction.
Yeah, so it's funny because people ask me a lot. They're like, "What? You don't like Xbox? You love PlayStation? Blah blah blah." And I'm always like, "No, it's not like that. It's just that So first off, PlayStation had a head start. First of all, there was a PS1 before there was an Xbox, and so they got their hooks in me first. So that's a huge advantage right off the bat. And number two is I've always been into JRPGs. And PlayStation's always been where it's at. Sorry. Just PlayStation 1 was amazing. PS2 is amazing. And, there are some good ones on the Xbox, but yeah, like you said, there's just so many amazing games on the PlayStation for RPGs. It's the way to go.
Yeah, it's fun, diving back into it. Actually, in my PS2 right now, I have Path of Neo Matrix.
Nice.
And it's pretty cool. It's great. I'm living PlayStation 2 now, and it's awesome. At PlayStation 1, I was there. PlayStation 2, it's I'm living it now, and it's fantastic, man.
Gotta get Evil Dead Fistful of Boomstick if you've never played that game. It's my favorite PS2 game.
I have it on. I think I have it on OG Xbox. They came out on that, right? Yeah. I have that on OG. And then I have an Evil Dead game on GameCube. I haven't played it though.
Probably Regeneration.
Is that Fistful of Boomstick?
I don't remember what came out on the GameCube. It's either that or Regeneration. Those are the ones that came out in that time frame. Regeneration is okay. It's got better graphics than Fistful of Boomstick, but I think Fistful of Boomstick is just better. It's funnier. The gameplay's better. Story's better. Regeneration's got a goofy midget who's constantly cracking jokes and stuff, and it's I don't know.
I like Evil Dead movie too.
Hell yeah.
This is a Dreamcast one.
Okay, Hail to the King. Yeah, that came out on PS1 and Dreamcast.
Yeah,
that's like a old school tank control horror game, like Resident Evil or Dino Crisis or something. It's actually pretty hard. Anything with the Evil Dead, I'm a huge fan. I'm obsessed. That's my favorite franchise in the world. So,
yep. So, do y'all have any good pickups?
I got a couple of things to show off. I haven't got any new pickups, but I've been going through my PS1 collection, and we're up to the letter R. So here we have another. A generic racer. This one's called Rage Racer. Rage Racer.
Yeah,
another one I picked up for $5 You know, any complete PS1 Black Label game you can get for $5. That's a win.
Yeah, that's a
I
weird
wonder
one
that-
because you figured it's Ridge Racer, but no, it's not. It's Rage Racer. It's like I could see that's definitely one of those like, Grandma gave me Ridge Racer for Christmas, and you get that, and you're like, what the fuck, Grandma? You know?
Or Road Rage or something. You know, you mix it up the other way.
Yeah, exactly. You're trying to get Road Rash or something.
One of the things I really enjoy about this channel is seeing Figsy put games up that are Power Region games and ones that were released in NTSC as well, but it's like a different cover art to it.
Cover art, yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
and then ones that just weren't released here. It's always really cool. It's one of my favorite parts about this podcast.
Cool. Here's one I did play, and I really love this genre, and that's Railway Tycoon 2. I love like city building games and train simulator games and different things like this. It doesn't really hold up today, but still a lot of fun, and series led-ons are some really amazing titles.
If you like trains, all train games are good.
Yeah, I like the whole like simulation and passenger simulation where you're trying to like run an economy and different things like that. These games are fun. Here we have another racing game. Tons of them on the PS1. This one's called Rally Cross 2. A lot of like generic rally games to get. I never played this one. I got into like V Rally and Colin McRae's Rally, but this is one I just picked up recently. So,
what is that G square that's on your games?
so that's our rating. That's like a
Okay.
kid rating, that one.
Okay, I assume that.
So the modern version of the G is the green square.
Okay.
And here's one we talked about earlier. Of course, we've got Rayman. And you guys know that this sold more copies than Gran Turismo, and I forget the other game that sold more
I wonder why. Just in the
than. I didn't play Rayman until the PS3. They're fun games, but they're games that you play for an hour, not for 20 hours. So I wouldn't pay full price for one. That's for sure.
I think I own a game on the Wii U, but I've never gotten into that franchise. Surprisingly, nothing against it. I just
They're
never
not bad
really-
games, but I'd rather play a Mario game or Castlevania
Yeah.
or something. Here we have another real racing game. This one's called RC Revenge. It looks like a bit of fun. You have trucks, boats. It's got like multiplayer split screen. I haven't tried this one. A lot of races out there on PS1. Oh, now we're getting into a big series. First Resident
is.
Evil game.
It's awesome.
I don't think I can say anything on this podcast that hasn't already been said about all these games.
So in the U.S.,
Got the
the
big box. And...
so the original game came out on long box, and it did come out on a small jewel case, and it also came out in the smaller jewel cases. The director's cut, like with the 2 discs, but like finding the regular OG jewel case version is actually kind of hard. I don't know if it's super expensive, but it's definitely the hardest version to find. I either see the director's cut or I see the long box, but I like rarely ever see just the single jewel case. And then there's a greatest hits director's cut that you see a lot too.
We got the director's cut as well.
There you
It
go.
includes the Resident Evil 2 demo, which is pretty cool.
So is that like a double disc case, or
I'm pretty sure it's quite heavy.
there?
Yeah, it's a double disc case, and the demo's on the left side.
Yeah, so we got it in the double case, like that.
Okay. Yep. So you can guess what's coming up next? Resident Evil 2.
And that one was pre-played though. It says.
See, this is the type of sticker that I can't take off because it'll just leave residue, and we fighting the sticker for half an hour. It's not worth trying to take it off.
Yeah, so you could get it off with
goo gone.
some goo gone. Yeah, man, you gotta get the goo gone.
It's an effort, but I like the ones that just come off.
My girlfriend fucking hates the smell of Goo Gone now. Like it's like
I don't like it either. I've got this other thing that's like odorless. That's the same as Goo Gone because I don't like the smell of it. I don't have Resident Evil Survive because it's like $150 for a game I'm probably never going to play. I might get it one day. But I do have Resident Evil 3 Nemesis.
Nice.
That's a cool cover right there.
I don't have Survivor either. I just don't want to play it. To be perfectly honest.
Yeah, it's one of those things that if I found it for $50, I'd pick it up. But like,
if I got it for cheap, sure. But I'm not spending money on a game that I don't want to play. Like I'm over it. Like if I see a game and I'm like, I do not want to play this game. I don't care how collectible it is. Like,
yeah, I feel you.
Eternity Century. We have like 30 Alone in the Darks. That's the truth.
Mm-hmm. All right, another one that we kind of mentioned today, but the real one. Ridge Racer Type 4.
Mm-hmm.
This one is from a video game shop. It's got the OG Hollywood video game on the back.
Dang, Hollywood Video was worldwide. That's what I'm talking about.
They spelled Australia wrong.
I actually never seen one, so they were in Australia, but I never visited one myself. So
they spelled Australia wrong on the back of that game.
Product of Austria.
I'm just being an asshole, dude.
Oh. Next, we have another classic game that I've played plenty of times on PC. I never actually played the PS1 version. And that, of course, is recent.
Oh, dude. That game is banned.
How many players is that? 4?
Yeah, 1 to 4 players.
Okay.
Really awesome. And it can use the multi-tab, etc.
Yes. If you're looking to end friendships, get in fist fights, and have an awful 4-hour-long time, play Risk. Good God, that game.
Figsy, I don't know if y'all played this there. Anybody on here? Okay, so a lot of the comments were I'm 30, 35, 37. So everybody's right around like this age. My wife and I will play the Jeopardy games on original Nintendo, and they're so hard because it's like late 80s Jeopardy. And it's like, yeah, it's killer hard.
You're like Bo Jackson. Oh, yeah.
Well, you've also got to use the time. Like if they ask a question about someone that's still alive, things might have changed. So you have to be like, hang on, all that stuff happened after 1987. What happened before it?
And I highly recommend if y'all play games with your spouses, highly recommend trying that.
Dude, I tell everybody to do that exact thing. Get all the Jeopardy games from all the years because they're super fun. And like you might find one that's like, that time period that you really like. Trivial Pursuit's the same way. Like if you get a copy of Trivial Pursuit that was made in the 90s, good luck, dude. Like
I had one as a kid that was like made in the 60s. I struggled playing it.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, good luck. All
right, next up, here's an absolute classic that I loved. I haven't got all of them. They're quite expensive.
Heck
I'll
yeah.
pick them up later. And we've got the real Road Rash. This is Road Rash 3D.
That's another good example of really cool cover art.
Yeah, very different from ours.
So much fun. If you don't know what
I
this
like
is,
that Knuckles.
Like, motorbike riding, but it's like fighting on motorbikes. So you got weapons and you're trying to knock everyone off their bikes and stuff.
Here's ours right here for reference.
Dude, I love those games.
So different.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think I like the cover you guys got better. I like the
I definitely like y'all's better.
So here's a really interesting one. Now, I actually sold this game because I thought it was missing the artwork, and I later rebought it, realizing that this is how it is complete. So the Australian version of Roll Cage doesn't have front artwork; it just has this manual, and it's literally how the game was sold.
It says
it looks like it doesn't look right. Yeah,
no, it does not look right.
Okay, so it was from a pack. That's why it does make sense. So the front cover of the box would have been like a double pack. Would have had the artwork on it, and then when you pull the game out, it's like this. So there's a reasoning behind it.
That's a sick game, by the way. If anyone like you want like a fun racing game that's kind of cheap, that game's fantastic. Have you played Grip on PS4? Grip Racing. It's like a spiritual successor.
Oh yeah.
That super fun game too. Like I love that game. Really fun.
Final game we're going to talk about today, and I believe Limited Run are doing a remake or one of the games in this franchise. And that is this one is the Rugrats Paris the movie.
Mhm.
One of the Rugrats games is getting a remake, right?
I don't think it's a new game. I
Oh,
don't think
okay.
it's a remake.
Oh, that's dope.
I think it's like a new. I could be wrong. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure it's like a new retro inspired like NES game.
Yeah, it's because they had the hook and the bait right in front of me, and I almost bit it, and then I said I'm going to sleep tonight and see if I want it tomorrow, and I didn't do it. But yeah, they make it into a cart, right? They have like two kinds of two colors or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's a good way to go with a lot of games these days. I feel like my first instinct is like, oh, I want that, and then I'm like, let me think about this, and then do I really want it? And then I end up like just forgetting about it, and that means I don't really run. Yeah, we do have some nice collections in this videos right now. Everybody has some sick stuff. It's like it's pretty awesome. I don't have a lot of stuff here. I only have a couple things here. So do you remember a while ago I showed off my PSP Capcom games that had like the lines at the bottom and they kind of like make a picture or whatever? Do you know what I'm talking about? I can get them down again if you want, but basically, I could never get the lines to like line up correctly, and I was like, what the hell? And so then anyway, this dude on Twitter posted his picture, and he's like, my little Capcom collection, and I realized I'm missing two of them. That's why I can't get the damn lines I didn't have them all. So I bought one of them, which I didn't have, but I do have it now, and it's Monster Hunter Freedom.
Nice.
And what I'm talking about is for PSP, there's like this selection of Capcom games.
I see that
can't
little
see
line.
it.
Yeah.
You see that little line? Yeah, I should just grab them. Hold on. I'll show you. I'll grab a couple of them. But like, I don't know, they have like these lines on the bottom, and you can like put them together, and it makes like one big picture. And yeah, so I was missing Monster Hunter Freedom, and Power Stone Collection is the other one. Power Stone Collection is actually expensive. It's like a $50-$60 game. So I'm like, I will end up getting it because I have to, and I do like Power Stone. I know I'm not going to sit there and play Power Stone by myself in a PSP because that's weird, but I'll still probably end up buying it. Yeah, Power Stone's like a multiplayer fighting game. It's just so odd to have it on the PSP, But I have a couple fighting games on the PSP, so I guess it's not that weird. But either way, I'm pretty excited about it. What's also irritating is apparently there's a Monster Hunter Freedom 2, and it's all white and it looks like it, but they didn't put the little line on it. So that's sort of part of this set, but it's not as far as I'm concerned because it ain't got the little cool line. And if it ain't the cool line, forget it. I don't care. I'm not interested. So that's the only game I got, and then I got some DVDs because I've been on that kick. So I picked up Batman: The Complete Animated Series on Blu-ray. Yeah, dude, it's just like it was on sale. It was like $30 or something like that, and I've been wanting this for a while anyway. So I figured I might as well jump on it while it was on sale. But it's pretty cool. This thing comes with all the cartoons, and it also comes with the Mask of the Phantasm movie and the Batman and Mr. Freeze movie as well. And yeah, I don't know if you guys ever watched this. I mean, you're the right age for this. I'm assuming you watched this. Is the best fucking cartoon ever when I was a kid. So I kind of had to have it.
I try to force it on my kids in the morning sometimes. They like to watch the Spidey verse. And I have to like explain, well, this Spider-Man isn't, we watch our Spider-Man or something. That Spider-Man isn't, there at that point. This one's not there. There's one Spider-Man at this point. There's one Spider-Man.
Yeah, there's only one. That's the way it should have been.
Yeah.
It's confusing now. I can't keep up.
And in their universe,
like
they're all the same
characters.
It's like,
but is Green Goblin? That's Green Goblin's a girl in this. And I'm like, y'all just watch the show and enjoy it.
So what I plan on doing is I'm gonna have a kid, but I'm gonna move out in the middle of the woods and like cut off the internet and just be like, this is all there is. And so that way they have to fucking, you know what I mean? They have no choice. And then they'll like go to college and like they'll just be in for this crazy culture shock, and they'll be like, what do you live in a fucking time machine, dude? Where have you been? Like,
And we're like, what do you live in the middle of the woods in a cabin?
And
Yeah.
then my kid will be like, "Why did you do this to me, Dad?" And I'll be like, "I needed someone to talk about Batman with. I'm sorry." All right, you needed to play Dragon Warrior 2, otherwise you couldn't be my son. All right, anyway.
Oh, I love it.
None of the kids at school even know what a smup is, Dad.
I could see myself being the parent. Like, you want to go to Disneyland? I want to see all the Dragon Quest games done by Tuesday. You understand me? All of them. I want to see a report too. I want to make sure you read the story. I want to check all your armor. No, I don't know. It's I will care about that though. Like, I'll be so upset if I have a kid and like they don't like this shit. I really would be so bummed.
Roblox.
So sad.
Roblox. I want to play Roblox.
They're gonna like their own stuff though.
I'm gonna have some
6-year-old
fucking-
likes. I have a Barney game on Genesis that I got. I don't know where I got it, and that's like the only game she likes. Go figure. But she likes it, and
You ain't gonna
I mean,
complain when she's playing it.
yeah, go ahead. And then they like
Oh,
playing
my-
racing games with the steering wheel.
That's what'll happen is I'll end up having a little girl and I'll just be playing Animal Crossing. Like, all right, yeah, we go. I'll help you freaking pick flowers or whatever. Catch fish.
I have to
with you.
figure out. Fizzy, can I show 2 unique things here before
Yeah,
we?
of course.
Oh,
All right, so these I really like just very niche things like it. And I've got, as collectors we go off the deep end sometimes and we start to get on these these wormholes of certain items. And so I love 3DO. I got a lot of 3DO stuff. And this one I got at a store that was in just outside of Richmond, Virginia, like 6 years ago. And I swear this is Fabio.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's sealed still, but
Such a great
Immortal Desire.
it doesn't look like a young Fabio or something.
Yeah, either that or he was like the bassist in Whitesnake or something.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
of course the back, just
Wow.
chicks. But
ourselves.
yeah,
Yo,
that's
3DO. It's got some bizarre ass games.
my 4-year-old was like, look at that.
Is that
I'm like,
sealed
"Ooh, I
though?
might
I mean,
need
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's sealed. I don't buy sealed stuff. I like to play games, but I don't, I don't want to break it. Also, I don't really want to play it. I don't know.
Come on, man. You don't have Forbidden Desires or whatever.
Figsy, y'all had Blockbuster, right?
We have what, sir?
Blockbuster in Australia.
We had Blockbuster. Past tense.
I love rental cases.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh, that is cool. Is that when you like rented out the console? That's what that
Yeah.
was.
Yeah, dude, check this out. This thing is legit. It's like I'm opening a case of $1 million here.
It's like Pulp Fiction.
Deal or no deal?
That's cool.
Upside down, but like, yeah, you open it and then everything's set and ready to go. Yeah,
That's
I
really
love these
cool.
things.
So I never rented consoles back in the day.
No, I
Games
never
all the
rented
time.
consoles either. I was just renting games.
I rented
I think
a
what-
Virtual Boy. That was
I think
it.
I rented a Sega CD for a while because I was like drooling. I was foaming at the mouth for that goddamn thing when that came out. That Sega CD, like, it's so funny to think like that full motion video and the games were like, oh my god, I have to play, and then you actually played it and you're like, oh, this sucks.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm on a bad rental case tangent now, and I have one from when I was younger. Still, it's a Sega Saturn rental case.
that's
but
cool.
They're just good memories, man.
So that's actually my favorite part of collections is the weird shit that people get into. It's like, after like you collect games for a while, and then after a while you're like, you get into some odd thing. Like some people, or like whether it's statues or like rare controllers or whatever. Like, so for you, that's fascinating to me that you're into rental cases. Like, I'm into old PlayStation magazines right now. That's my oddball thing I'm obsessed with lately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like gaming related, sort of related, but not that. I don't know. It's just fun to have like.
I guess mine would have been steelbooks because there's no games inside. They're just like
Steelbook.
Yeah.
metal.
Exactly. Or like people get into like posters or artwork or the people who collect
Amiibos, whatever.
the
Skylanders.
freaking the display models for what do they call them,
Press
What's
kits?
wrong with me? No, like when they have
Oh,
the
the
store.
promotional things.
What do they call? Man, I don't know. Wrong my brain tonight. When they have like the system set up in the store and you can play it, but it's
Kiosks.
like a kiosk. Thank you, Jesus.
Oh, yeah,
Christ,
yeah.
that's the word. Like that sort of stuff. I like that, like side hobby stuff.
Somebody's
I
got a
had one more thing to
PlayStation
show.
4 one for sale up where I live right now, but they want like, and it's saying it. I think they want like $600 for it.
I mean,
that
they're
a lot?
worth it. I had a
Are
PS3
they?
one. I sold it for
If it's in good shape,
$100 or something.
that's not that bad because it'll be worth $2,000 in a few years for sure. Yeah, I also got this. I forgot to show this off. The
Oh,
Venture
that's
Brothers,
cool.
the complete series. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the Venture Brothers, but like if you haven't, this is like it is so good. It is so good. This show is literally like my favorite thing in the world. I don't know if you're not familiar with it. It's like a spoof on like Johnny Quest. Do you know what Johnny Quest is? From like the 50s, like those like adventure cartoons, like or like Richie Rich sort of things or something like that. Or like the Hardy Boys, something like that, where
Yeah.
it's like that old adventure, we gotta find gold in the old mines, that type of crap. But it's like a funny comedy version of it where the venture guy is like he was like the kid hero, but now he's like older and he's like bald and he's pathetic and he's kind of a loser and he's like living off his family's fortune and like he's just she's kind of a schmuck, and it is so funny, dude. So if you like comic books at all, and especially if you like old, like I don't know how to describe it, but this stuff, it is so good. This show is so goddamn funny. But what I will say is that the first season is like a little more low budget than the rest. So it's a little tough to get through it. But if you can please get through the first season, you will love everything else. And you have to watch the first season because it's one of those shows where like they make jokes in season 4 about crap that happened in season 1. And you really need to know it because like that's what I like. I like shows that like don't hold your hand. I like shows that assume the viewer is intelligent and can understand jokes and can make connections and can like it doesn't need to have things explained to them. And this show doesn't explain shit. Like they say a joke, and if you get it, it is funny. But if you don't, you're like, I don't get it. But if you do, you're like, oh my God, that's so funny. Because if you remember in this episode, this guy was this, and he was his uncle, and he did this. And remember, he took him to camp, and he did this. Remember that whole story about this? That is hilarious. Like it's so well written, dude. That show is amazing, and it has Brock Sampson in it, which is like the greatest character ever made. So anyway, I just want to rave about Venture Brothers. It's so good. It's the best show ever. So definitely watch it. And that's all I got.
I can't say I've watched it before, but I don't really watch much TV at all.
So like I said, if you watch the first season, you'll be like, what is he talking about? This is like mildly entertaining at best. But if you can stick it out and make it to season 2, you name your cats Hank and Dean, Lulu. Like you're like my favorite person. You never know. So now we can bond over this. I love it. Now, did you replace your cats 3 or 4 times? You know what I'm talking about? I don't even want to tell you the jokes. I want to tell you, but again, I don't want to ruin it. So it's like a good story too. Believe it or not, it's like it's just fantastic. It's so much better than anything else like that's come out in the last few years as far as comedy goes, in my opinion. I don't know. The only other thing I liked even close to it as much as I like Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I don't know if you guys watched that show. You ever watch that with the milkshake and the meatball and the French fries?
I've heard about it, but I haven't watched it.
Oh, dude, I love that show too. But that show is stupid as hell. That show is like, I wouldn't recommend that show because I wouldn't want people to judge me based on that show. If that makes sense, they were like, Joe really likes this, huh? Oh, okay.
After seeing that cover, I can't get Legends of the Hidden Temple out of my head. That's the first thing that hit me I thought that's what you were going to say it was.
Well, it's very like that. Like they go to the Amazon and they find a temple and they find a thing, and it's like that whole like adventure-y. It's hard to describe. Like I said, it's very Johnny Quest, if you know what Johnny Quest is. But again, that's some old ass stuff. That was old when I was a little kid. That was like the cartoons my parents watched when they were kids.
I've never heard of it before.
Do you know who like the Hardy Boys are? Do you know?
I've heard of them, but I don't know who they are.
It's kind of like Scooby Doo. They have like mysteries they have to solve. There's always like,
I know who Scooby Doo is.
you know, like someone's haunting the old factory. Let's find out who. Like that type of weird, like campy thing.
But in like a
it's
1940s kind of vibe, like
Yeah.
Yes. No, that so, but now imagine those people all grew up and it's like a modern times and they're all like dysfunctional adults. And they're like, it's like, man, I can't describe it. And all the superheroes and like the bad guys are in this thing called the Guild of Calamitous Intent. And they all have meetings about like what they're allowed to do as bad guys and what their henchmen can and can't do. And all. Oh man, it's amazing. It's so funny. I don't want to keep talking about that, but it's so good.
I think we might call that one a night, guys.
Yeah, now that we're turned into the
Right,
Venture Brothers review hour,
Yeah, we go through the
we can probably stop.
It's 2 hour 20-minute mark. Max, thanks so much for coming on the show, man. It was nice to meet you and hear about your store that you're going to be opening up and see your collection and everything. It was really cool.
cross
Do you
your
have
fingers.
do you have socials and stuff we can follow you on, man? Do you have like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube?
Yeah,
anything like that?
I actually backed off from social media big time. I do have Instagram that I'll get on occasionally, and then, but it's _retro_necro. So yeah, if somebody wanted to DM me on there or follow me, it'd be good. You can ask me questions and whatnot. But yeah, I'm not on any other socials, and it's fantastic. More time for games.
No, I feel you there. But if you do open up the store, are you planning on like doing anything like Retro Rick does, maybe documenting it, anything like that?
Possibly. Possibly.
Okay.
One of those
Well,
things
you know-
where online sales generate just as much revenue.
I'll definitely do a website. Yeah, I've got somebody building the website right now, and then I've got somebody doing logos and all of that. So I'm in. I mean, I'm halfway. I got 1 foot and half my body in the door right now.
Yeah, no,
Cool,
so-
man.
Maybe I'll get invited to come back on another one of these, and I can give an update. And
Yeah, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
like,
Yeah, definitely.
record everything, that'd be awesome.
yeah, I thoroughly enjoy being on here. It's been fantastic.
Yeah, we had a
It's
good
been
time
great
having
to
you on
chat
there.
for the last 3 hours. It's good fun.
Anytime we go an hour and 40 minutes before forget to do the quiz, that's probably a good show. Sorry
a lot
about
of
that
Americans
quiz, by
still
the
on
way.
here, I guess, which is great. People staying up to 1:43 daylight savings
yeah.
time. I love y'all.
That's right. The
Well,
dedicated.
thanks everyone for watching. Have a good night, and we'll see you guys on the next one.
Night, everybody.
You found the coolest place to be, the PlayStation collecting sets, and come on, won't you stay with me? Welcome to the show. Gather round the boys and girls, collectors from around the world, and show the people what they need to know. Welcome to the show. Gonna talk to guests, only got the best. Gonna put their knowledge to the test. Gonna laugh and eat, gonna live the dream, gonna show you things you've never seen. Gonna sing a song to the break of dawn. Gonna rock this party all night long. So come on everybody, let me see you dance. Get yourself ready for one more chance.